living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE and welcome back to the channel that dangles stupidity off a tall building, makes it beg for its life and then still drops it anyway. Monday night, so we're going to have Monday night debates, and we've got an awesome one tonight because we have my spirit animal, PhD Tony, here to have a discussion with Sensei Spurskimo, who's going to teach us all why rockets don't work in space. Joining me, as always, is my partner in crime, Team Skeptic. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm not doing bad at all. I don't know why you're not appearing on my screen. For some reason, it's not picking up your camera feed. Let me let's go to the 4 people one because you're on there. That works. There we go. That's worked.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, thanks for joining. Me and you, team, are going to look after the chat and stuff tonight. While these guys get into the nitty gritty of you know, the fact that the Earth is quite obviously a globe, but Spurs thinks it isn't. Before we get started, I have a couple of new channel members. We have Nathan's Tampons. Thank you very much. It's an image I didn't want in my head, but welcome. You can use the awesome emoji of Nathan Thompson in jail. And then we've got Megan Santana's 5150 as another new member. Thank you very much, guys. Tony, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for joining us once again. I'm sorry that we have to put somebody with a doctorate through this.
It does seem an interesting situation, but anyway.
If someone had told you before you were doing, if someone had told you before you were doing your doctorate that you'd be arguing with flat earthers in a few years, what would you have said?
I would have expressed extreme surprise that there were enough flat earthers for that to happen.
And joining us to teach us all the wonders of the universe, Spurs, how are you doing today?
Hello, good evening, good afternoon. Good morning to you, Tony. I suppose you're there in Australia.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
How are you, Chemo?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah.
Excellent.
Glad for asking. Thank you for asking. How are you, team? You okay?
No problem.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Spurs?
You don't seem good, team. You don't seem your usual self. Have you come to the realization that we're not on a ball?
No, not
That's
at all.
the kind of face
Not
you
at
have
all.
when you realize you're not on a globe, right?
No, it isn't.
This is the face you make nonstop.
I actually have a question for Chemo just before we start. So last time we talked for a few hours, and I was wondering if you learnt any science at all during that exchange.
Well, it depends on what you mean by science. How do you define science? What's your definition of science?
Did you learn any physical principles, any physical phenomena? Did you learn how to quantify or model or represent any of the above?
Well, let's look at science. How do you define science? What is science?
So this is what is science and what is not science is called the demarcation problem. And it's a problem in philosophy, and one of the first people to sort of have a serious stab at it was Karl Popper. And the simple fact of the matter is that there is no authoritative philosophical answer to that question. What is science? What is not science? What is pseudoscience? What is science? All of the attempts to answer that question either take branches of known science and label them as pseudoscience, or take known pseudoscience and label them as sciences. So this is still a work in progress. But one of the things that can be used one of the criteria that is gaining traction is whether or not a theory is progressive. In other words, it extends our understanding of the universe around us, it builds on our previous scientific developments, or regressive in the sense that it attempts to take a whole bunch of stuff for which we have a working scientific understanding and rip that scientific understanding apart.
Okay, but we're still trying to define science, how we know things. Are you saying?
And I just said there's no authoritative answer to that question. So,
well, yeah, of course.
do
yeah, of course.
you
I mean,
need me?
I mean, I would say that if someone makes a claim about something, like you say, you have an idea, a hypothesis. I think that claim can be tested, right? Would you agree? Disagree?
I would agree, but I would agree that observation is a form of test, correct?
Observation is a form of
If somebody
test.
says,
What do you mean?
if somebody
Observation
says
is
that
a
the
form of
sky
test? So you
is,
mean looking at something is a test?
yes, if somebody says that the sky is green, how would you go about disproving that?
Well, you would compare
You'd
it.
go
So that
outside
wouldn't-
and you'd look at the color of the sky.
Yes,
Right?
but
So
that's
you
just.
can determine whether or not something is true by simple observation, by simple inspection. And what you and Oakley and Quantum Eraser and the various other flat earthers attempt to do is assert that you guys have actually answered the demarcation problem and do know exactly what is and is not science, and B, you suggest that the act of observation is inherently not part of science, that just observing something is not good enough. Further,
Okay.
you suggest that experimentation must be done in a particular way. There must be a control. For instance, in order for us to demonstrate that parachutes work, you require that we throw people out of planes without parachutes, and that we throw people out of planes with placebo parachutes that don't open. Only after that controlled experiment has been performed will you accept that parachutes have been scientifically demonstrated to protect people from damage from long falls. And I asked you the last time not to call me sir.
I haven't called you, sir.
No sea lioning, please.
Yes, you did.
All right, so Tony, we're talking about science. We're talking about the claims. So I would have said if someone's making a claim about something that seems wild, seems quite outrageous, something that hasn't been tested, I would say that unless we have a test or an experiment to back up that wild claim, then we have to leave it in like the religious, the ideology, the philosophical realms, right? It's not something that we can know to be true. Right.
No,
so when you say, for example, rockets can work in. So, for example, when you say rockets can work in space, so the idea is that you can have a device that can leave the area of atmosphere, go into an area with no atmosphere, with nothing to push off, and then maneuver around in this area. I mean, this cannot be demonstrated on any level. So again, this would be a wild claim, right?
Yes, it can, and it has been.
Okay, so
I mean, you're suggesting that there have not been rockets sent into space. Yes, there have.
No, there's been rockets that fly around the atmosphere. You know, they go up and they come down because simply going into an area that is without pressure.
So is the moon in space?
Without a container. No, well, space. Well, what is space, Tony?
Well, you're the person who's claiming it. I would suggest that space is where you get far enough from the planet that the atmospheric pressure falls below some threshold value. In general, something like I think the exosphere, the very top layers of Earth's atmosphere, are considered to extend out to 10,000 kilometers.
How do you know this, Tony? How do you know any of this? Are you guessing? Is this science? Are you giving me
because I read about the exosphere, and I have studied textbooks on the matter of atmospheric dynamics and mass exchanges at the upper atmosphere.
Okay, so that's not science, Tony, is it? So we have a claim that you're saying there's an.
That's an idiotic statement. I read material that was presented by somebody else. I do not assume that I am the only person, that scientific progress is tied innately to my personal experience. I don't have to personally experience something in order for it to be real.
Okay,
I
so
don't know
Tony,
where you live in the UK, but I've never been there. But I don't assume that it doesn't exist or you don't exist simply because I haven't been there and I haven't experienced it, right? And
that's
it's the
not the
same.
claim,
It's the
Tony.
same.
That's not a wild.
It's the
That's not the claim. That's not the claim, Tony. A wild claim is.
and no. So you're using the term wild, okay? Now. Your understanding of what is wild is not the same as my understanding of what is wild, nor is it the same as teams or fights or anybody else's claim.
Well, if I said that I could levitate and I could fly, that would be wild, right?
Spurs, let Tony finish what he's saying before you interrupt, if you don't mind.
So you need to define precisely what if you're going to define science as, well, wild claims need to be substantiated, then you're going to have to define what you mean by wild, because to me, you're claiming that there have been no humans on the moon, right?
Right, absolutely. Scientifically impossible.
Okay. So how do you explain the existence of retroreflectors on the moon?
There are no retroreflectors on the moon, Tony. That would be impossible.
There are 5 retroreflectors on the moon, and you can target them with lasers, and you can take a laser out into your backyard, and if you know what you're doing, you can bounce the laser beam off the retroreflectors and get it back. This is the fundamental reality that is being used on the lunar laser ranging experiment. And you saying that it doesn't occur, you asserting that doesn't happen, is just an assertion.
Tony,
No,
this is not me.
No,
this
you
is
don't
science.
Get,
Science
I'm a
says
scientist.
this is not possible.
So
I respond
there are
anytime.
things called scientific journals. There are things,
right?
Okay, there are things called scientific journals, right? Are all of them wrong?
If they follow the scientific method, then of course not.
Okay, so they do. That's why they're called scientific journals.
Well, that's what we're here to find out, Tony. If they're actually following the method,
no, we're not here to find that out.
Yeah, we're questioning
nothing.
Tony, we think the Earth is flat, or we know this. We're saying that you guys are bringing science that is false, and we're asking you to demonstrate this science that you can have a vacuum without the container, that rockets can fly around in this vacuum without the container, and how these things are defying science, but you seem to think it's okay. Can you show me otherwise?
They're not. Well, I have explained on multiple occasions the fallacy of the of your claim that an atmosphere close to a planet and a very low pressure high above the planet is simply false, right?
You can't fly around in low pressure. How can you fly around in low pressure? Show me a vacuum which has low pressure and something can fly around in low pressure. How is that possible?
Okay. There is a graphic of a rocket operating in a manually created vacuum in the form of a soft drink can. They evacuated the chamber until the soft drink can failed, and the soft drink inside expanded out the back of the can and projected the can forward.
Yeah, that's pressure from the container, Tony. That's science. Without the container, there is no pressure.
And that's how a rocket works, right? A rocket is a container. You expand the rocket.
No, Tony.
How is a rocket not a container? How is a rocket not a container?
The walls of the vacuum are the container which we pressed on. Without that container, you wouldn't get that motion. It needs something to press on. Now in space, it has nothing
How can it be pressing? So This is the most absurd
How is it pressing, Tony? On the
claim.
container?
It's not pressing on the container at all. It's not in contact with the container. There's no physical medium between it and the container.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have the pressure without the container.
There's no pressure. It's a vacuum.
Yes, but obviously, if you've ignited the can and it's obviously moving around, it's not a vacuum anymore, is it? You've now created pressure.
Yes, so that depends on the size of the vacuum, doesn't it?
No, because if you had a giant vacuum, that can wouldn't do anything, would it? It would need that close proximity, like this here. It needs that close proximity for the walls for it to press on. Look how close it is to the walls.
Your claim rests entirely on the non-existence of space missions. Okay, but we can demonstrate that space missions have occurred.
No, you can demonstrate that rockets go up and they come down. That's what we can demonstrate.
We can demonstrate that space missions have occurred. There are retroreflectors on the moon. There are rocks. There are lunar rocks that we have. You know, we've taken images. We've measured. We've done seismic surveys on the moon. You know, there is abundant evidence of multiple missions making it to the moon. And you reject all that evidence, and you do so without. Here's the video. Here's the video of the soft drink can, right? And that's an illustration of rocket principles. And the reason there are no large-scale examples of somebody trying to launch a Saturn V, operate a Saturn V inside a giant vacuum container is because there's absolutely no need to do it. The physical principles involved. You're expanding a gas inside the rocket. It expands out behind the rocket, and as a result of that motion, the rocket goes forward. It is basic physics at its best. If it operates at, they're actually less efficient in an atmosphere. They work better in a vacuum.
There you go. This is
in an atmosphere.
This is at 1,000 frames a second.
But you can't have a vacuum without the container, Tony. Right? So space doesn't have a container. Where's the container in space?
The universe.
It's the edge of the universe, just as it is in your model. In your model, you have this thing you call the firmament, and that's the edge of the physical universe, as far as we can tell. We don't know what's outside it. There's no way of sampling it. That's the edge of the universe. That's the universe that we live in. Okay, yeah. I can adopt exactly the same definition. The container for all gases is the edge of our universe. It's just further away than your. It's just further away than your firmament.
Okay, so you're saying particles leave the Earth, go up into space, hit the edge of your container, and then bounce back towards the Earth.
No, because that isn't at all necessary for a rocket to work.
Yeah, but that's what happens in the container. I'm talking about not the rocket, the container.
Yes, but it's not necessary. You're saying that rockets can't work. Rockets do not work by firing stuff at a wall or at the edge of a container. They work because there's mass going.
That's Newton's third law, right?
Yes, that's Newton's third law. They work by throwing mass out the back of the rocket.
Okay.
And as a result, the rocket has to go forward.
So are you saying, let's say for example, we've got a spray can. We've got pressure inside the can. So when I spray the can and we have the particles outside of the can, are those particles under pressure?
Yes.
How much pressure?
Unless you're operating it in a vacuum.
No. We're in the atmosphere now. We've got a normal spray can.
Okay, there's such a thing as atmospheric pressure, right?
No, but I'm asking you about the particles in the can are under pressure. We press the nozzle and spray them out. Are those particles under pressure?
Yes.
If they're freely moving about and you're saying they're under pressure, how much pressure are they under?
They're under atmospheric pressure.
No, the particles, are they pressurized?
Yes, they're
Outside of the
they're
can, are they pressurized? So you're saying the gas inside the can and the gas outside the can are the same. You've got pressurized gas in and outside of the can.
what I'm saying.
So
There's
we
going
do
to be a
have gas
transition
pressure going
period.
down a container then. Because if I spray the can, that gas outside of the can is now pressurized, according to you, without the container.
Yep. Okay. So can I make a number of points? You seem incapable of staying on one topic, right? Your claim here is that rockets can't work,
Well, this is
and
the very point
your
you're saying. You're saying that when the
Well,
rocket fires something out of the back,
no,
you're saying that
yes,
when the rocket fires something out of the back, that how is this now under pressure? Where does the pressure come from? When the gas leaves the
it
rocket,
doesn't.
how does that create its
So
own warp?
it's not when it goes out the back, it's not when it's outside the rocket that it's supplying pressure. It's while it's inside the combustion chamber that it's supplying pressure.
So it's in a container, yeah.
yeah.
Yes. So inside the
Okay.
rocket, inside the combustion chamber, it expands and pushes against the combustion chamber, and that supplies a force against the rocket, and that makes the rocket go forward.
What are you talking about?
That's
So
a
it's
point
in
for
the
me.
rocket.
That's a point for me. Thank you, team.
Well done, 1 point. Team, you got the
What are,
point? Yeah, there we go.
what are you saying here? You're saying that inside the rocket, it creates its own force. That force leaves the rocket and pushes the rocket.
No, that is absolutely not what I said.
So then how does it
That's
move?
0 points for Spurs.
How does it move if it has nothing to push off?
So the point of contact between the expand. So there is a. You don't seem to understand how rockets work. There is a combustion chamber where the fuel is burnt, right?
Sure.
It is ignited. Okay. At that
If you
point,
say so,
it
yeah.
expands. It expands massively, right? That creates that increases the pressure inside the combustion chamber. So there is expanding gas pushing against the combustion chamber. That is the force. So it's got nothing to do with what's behind the rocket or whether or not there's anything there. It's the force inside the rocket. It is at the point inside the combustion chamber that the propulsive force is being applied.
And you can demonstrate this. That is a wild claim,
Yes,
there,
multiple.
Tony.
No, it isn't.
Well, let's have a look then. Show us how you can demonstrate in a vacuum without the container thrust, drag, and all of these movements that you're purporting.
There's no
Can you
drag
show,
in a
this
vacuum.
this is not a wild story. Can
We
you
did
show
just show you the video, Spurs.
We did literally just show you this happening.
You showed me a
And
container.
you,
We showed you a vacuum.
we
So
showed
you're
you a
saying the
vacuum.
vacuum has a container now? We live in a closed system.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
the
live in a closed
universe.
system. It's called the
is
universe.
absolutely a closed system. Visible confusion.
So that's another point for me.
You're right there, Spurs. You
Team?
seem to have gone silent on that point. Spurs, you still
Hello,
there?
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You went quiet.
Yeah.
It's like we blew your
No,
mind.
I'm trying to. I'm asking about the system that we live in. If we were saying if we live in a closed or a open system.
And I said
We live in a closed system. It's called the universe.
Yeah, the universe is a closed system.
So how do we know? How did you figure that out?
I listen to people who have studied this in detail and who have carefully assessed the scientific evidence available to them.
Okay, how did they figure it out?
They used a variety of observational techniques to determine the nature of the universe. For instance, the motion of astronomical objects inferred from the redshift of atomic spectra in from shifts in the absorption lines in the spectra of stars. They were able to work out the shift, and galaxies. They were able to work out the speed with which those objects are moving relative to us. And they were able to determine.
Sorry, Tony. Spurs, you're kind of shifting the goalpost here. You're now asking Tony to explain every scientific observation about the universe that we know, and that's not really fair.
No, because Tony's making claims. He's diverting.
No. He's not making claims. He is explaining what what the heliocentric model is, and the heliocentric model says that the universe is the ultimate closed system. And that's what the second law of thermodynamics is referring to when it talks about entropy is always, increases in a closed system. That's what it's on about. The universe is the closed system.
We know the story, Craig. We're looking for the science behind it.
We're not telling you stories. We are telling you what the model is, Spurs. Okay.
Okay. So,
which is part of the story.
Have you read a scientific textbook on this subject?
No.
Okay, so how do you expect to have any sort of meaningful opinion on a subject that you know nothing about?
Through experiments.
So this gets back to okay, what experiments have you performed?
Well, it depends on the claim. If I claim that...
No. You said that you know stuff through experiments. What experiments have you performed?
Well, I say it depends on the claim. So some claims don't need science, but other claims will need science. If it's a wild claim like a phenomenon, it will need science. Not everything needs science.
Phenomena are not wild claims.
Right?
Okay. I'm going to claim that it's 5-0 at the moment. I'm going to observe that it's 5-0.
Yeah, that's accurate.
So the point, you are claiming that you only know stuff through experiment, and then you are refusing to describe any experiments. And this is why your model of how science is done, that personally you have to do the experiments, you have to do all the observations. There's just too much. There is too much for one person. There's too much science for one person to master all of the intricacies. There's too much science for one person to know it all. I don't know it all. There are at least 10 million people on the face of the planet who are significantly smarter and better educated than I am. And if they come up and they tell me stuff, I'm going to defer to them. I'm going to listen to them. And it is an open question. You refuse to answer whether there is anybody on the face of the planet who is better educated and more intelligent than you. You refuse to answer one way or the other. Your response is, it's not about me.
Well, let's think about it, Tony. Let's talk about it a little bit. So, you don't want to talk about it. You keep on preaching at me. You're asking, are we some of the most intelligent people? Well, I mean, let's look at it. We've figured out that your version of science is incorrect. We figured out that your version of mathematics... You won't let me speak at all. I can't get a word in edgeways here. You're just preaching to me. We're trying to have a comment. I'm trying to show you that you're asking me a question about, are we more intelligent than all these people? You say that there are more intelligent people than yourself, yet they're not here. They haven't been able to show that we live on a globe, rotating, and in the vacuum of space. So when you ask, are we more intelligent than these people? Well, let's think about that. Yes, well, We've figured out we're not on a globe.
No,
How?
you haven't.
Through experiments, we've shown that
No, you
liquid
haven't.
is absolutely flat and level.
No,
We've
it's
figured
not.
out the Earth is not spinning.
No, it's
We've figured
not.
out the Earth is
Right.
the sun is not
No,
92
yes,
million
it
miles
is.
away.
Spurs.
And we figured out that
Spurs,
rocket
you're not,
Yes, it is.
Spurs, right, hold on. Spurs, you're not here to just lie a bunch, because no flat earther has ever figured out anything beyond tying their own shoelaces. There is no
Well,
okay,
evidence.
you know
so-
that the
No,
water
hold
level
on.
is
No,
you know
hold on.
water
There-
is level and
Spurs,
horizontal
shut
and
up.
flat.
Hold on.
You know this.
No.
right?
Level means the curve of the Earth, so don't go there.
No, that's not true.
No, it
level
absolutely.
cannot be
No,
curved.
Spurs. I'm not here to argue with you. That is what level
Level
means.
is point
End
to
of
point,
discussion.
it's parallel. Well, then
Spurs,
demonstrate
Spurs,
that then.
I'm not here to argue with you. The definition of level is curved. That is not up for
You
discussion.
can't just preach that. You
No,
can't
no,
force
it's a
conclusion
fact.
on
No,
it.
Spurs, shut up. That is a fact, and I have showed it multiple times. We are not here to discuss something that has been proven over and over. Level
That's
means the
never been
curve.
proven.
Shut up. Level means the curve of the Earth. That is a fact. Move on. Okay? You are not here to preach a bunch of lies. You have not proven anything. Give me one thing that you have proven through experimentation, or don't. Don't say a bunch of stuff with nothing to back it up. Okay?
So
Like
I
I've
just
said,
want
we've
to.
tested
I
the
just want
physics
to.
of water. Water cannot conform around the exterior of an object without a force.
Citation
That's a
needed.
fact.
No, it's not a fact, because
Well,
it
no,
happens
that's a,
on Earth.
that is a fact. But he said without a force. There is a force that makes water conform to the edge to the outside of Earth. It's called gravity.
Gravity is not a thing. It's not even it's not a
Yes,
force.
it
It's
is.
not a
No, Spurs, shut up. Gravity's not up for
Gravity
discussion.
doesn't exist.
Spurs, stop. Gravity isn't up for discussion. Gravity is an empirical fact. Move on.
demonstrate gravity.
Shut up.
so
Shut up. Gravity is
I-
up for
I would-
not up
I
for
would
discussion.
like to-
End of discussion.
May I speak for a moment?
Yeah.
So to rewind the conversation, I said, "Have you done any experiments?" You could not name a single experiment that you have done. But you're here telling us that the people who have done the experiments, that the people who have done the investigations, are wrong, and you've shown that they're wrong. But you've shown that they're wrong. You're shown that they're wrong without doing any experiments. How? You
Well,
know,
it's very simple,
You
because-
claim that you claim that you've shown stuff, and you haven't. And this is the thing: you are asserting that you are now substantiating the claim that I said that you were making, that you are one of the most intelligent people on the face of the planet. And
No, I'm not
you're
saying
not.
that. You asked that question, and I said, well, let's think about that. If we, the flat earthers, have been able to disseminate and show that you, the scientist, cannot prove with science
You never
that
have
you have an
though.
experiment to show that the Earth is rotating, the Earth has curvature,
One
that
sec.
rockets can work in
One
space,
sec, Spurs.
that
Hold on. One
that
sec.
really
Is
what
the
someone
Earth
thinks.
rotating? I think Bob
No,
says
the Earth
it
is
is.
not rotating. The
I
Earth
mean-
is perfectly still.
I mean, you would have to argue with Bob about that.
A 15-degree-per-hour drift.
Sorry, you can't say
Yeah.
the Earth is not rotating when flat
So that
earthers
drift,
have proven
with
that
the
it is
ether,
rotating.
It's questionable.
No, it's not. There's nothing questionable
Okay,
about it.
so
Spurs.
do you know what the branch of science is called that deals with the shape of the Earth, its orientation, and its gravity field? Do you know what that branch of science is called?
I've never heard of that because
Did you
it's not
know?
science.
Did you know that there's a branch of science? Well, it's what you're claiming. You're claiming to be studying the rotation of the Earth, its shape, and its gravity field. So you
That's
know,
not through science, though. Because we don't observe rotation, so there's no observed phenomena here.
we do observe rotation
Yeah,
in
we absolutely
multiple
100% do.
in multiple ways. There are multiple experiments that demonstrate rotation. You can look up the Romy experiment, in Germany, where they're building a huge, huge. It's not as big as CERN or anything like that, but it's a large pyramidal arrangement of ring lasers, and they're measuring the Earth. They're measuring the rotation of the Earth with enough precision that we can locate the poles of the Earth to within 1 centimeter. That's a point for me.
I'm pretty sure it's 7 now.
That's it. That's if people believe you, Tony.
No,
But
it's
if
not
they
about
don't
belief.
believe
Yes.
you,
It's fact.
you're going to leave
Right.
people in doubt.
Can we-
You don't
can-
have a demonstration to back up your wild
Can we get back?
claim.
Can we get back to the topic, which is the fact that Spurs said that he can demonstrate that there is no way a rocket can work in space. Can you just try and stick with that and tell us why it's not possible, Spurs? Using Newton's laws of motion and mathematics, could you please prove to us that it's impossible that a rocket works in space?
No, because space is a place where there is very
Non sequitur.
Well, the idea of space. That's what we're trying. You're saying that
No, non sequitur. You know exactly what I mean. A rocket in the vacuum of space. You say it can't work. Stick to the topic.
Yeah, it's because it doesn't exist. That's
No,
the
no,
point.
no, no. Don't say it doesn't exist. Tell me why a rocket couldn't work.
Well, how could it? It has nothing to push off.
Please explain that with mathematics and give me a mathematical proof
doesn't need
to back up what.
mathematics.
No, Spurs, give me a mathematical proof to back up what you've just said, or you
It
have
doesn't
nothing.
require mathematics. It
It
requires an
100%
experiment.
does. It 100%
No, it doesn't.
does.
When they were building it, when the Wright brothers were building their aircraft, it was trial and error, nothing to do with mathematics.
Okay, right. You said that it's an experiment. Then please provide an experiment that shows a rocket can't work in space. Or we're
Again,
going to
this is
dismiss your
not
claim.
an experiment, Craig. You're using the word
No,
incorrectly.
no. You just said
Then
that
it isn't.
you just said that we need to do it via experiment. So show me an experiment that shows that rockets cannot work in space.
There will be no experiment because
No,
none
no,
of
but
them
no, I'm going to ask you once more. Give me an experiment that shows that rockets can't work in space.
You're asking for the impossible.
I've got some music that can, while you think about it, okay? Any time now, Spurs? Any experiment that shows a rocket can't work in space?
Experiment requires an observed phenomenon.
Okay, have you got an experiment that shows a rocket can't work in space or not? Yes or no?
Space. What is space?
No, yes or no, Spurs. It's not. It's
I'd have
not.
to know what space
there
is
is no, Spurs. There's only two options here. Do you have an experiment that shows rockets cannot work in space?
you're asking
Yes
me to prove
or no?
something
If you
about
don't answer, I'm going to take it as a no, and that's another point for Tony. Do you have an experiment that shows that rockets?
A point for La La Land. That's
No,
fine.
no,
I can't demonstrate.
Spurs. So is the answer no? Do you have an experiment that shows rockets can't work in space? Yes or no?
There is no experiment.
No,
because
Tony.
there
That's
is
8 to you now. Well done, Tony.
Okay.
You're winning in your La La Land, Tony. Well done.
So Spurs, in order for you to assert that the rockets don't work in what we all regard as, in the extremely low pressures of space, and space is often described as a vacuum, and effectively it is, but it's not a complete vacuum. There is material there. It's just at a very, very low pressure, very, very low density. And you seem to concede that stuff with really, really low pressure and really, really low density can exist. So why is this a problem?
Well, how is it possible?
Why, and you need to prove, that lunar missions, space missions, satellite maneuvering, all of this stuff occurs in pressures that are low enough. Well, not all of it, but much of it occurs in pressures that are low enough to be considered space. So why?
It's not possible, Tony, because you cannot have gas pressure without the container. You cannot have gas pressure next to a vacuum. These break all laws of science. So if you're making this wild claim, you need to demonstrate that you can have the gas pressure without the container. You need to demonstrate you can have a vacuum without the container.
We don't say there's a vacuum without a container.
Just as a let me go through this again. I've been through it a number of times. Imagine, the Earth's atmosphere is largely in what's called hydrostatic equilibrium. There are winds, there are updrafts, but in general, it's got a fairly stable temperature pressure profile at any given latitude, any given location. There are perturbations, there are daily variations and whatever, but it's a reasonably stable structure. Now imagine a molecule in Earth's atmosphere near the surface, right? Can you imagine that? Have you got that particle, that gas molecule, right? does it have a finite amount of energy?
From the beginning, Tony, is imagining I'm with you the whole way. We haven't been doing science, Tony. We've been imagining the whole thing. So of course I must imagine.
Does that gas molecule? See, there you
I'll tell you why,
expressed a
Tony, because you're supposed to be the scientist. You're teaching children that the Earth is a globe without science.
I don't think
and now
Tony
you're
teaches
to
anything.
Me without bringing me
Tony's not
a demonstration.
Tony's
Well, I don't know
not
if you're
a teacher.
teaching children directly, but the children trust the scientists. They trust you to deliver. And you're not giving me anything but a preaching story of, oh, I've read this, I've read that, and there were smarter people than me, and are you smarter than other people, and are you the one of the smart? You're supposed to be the guy who knows what's going on, but you can't show anything. This shows the state of mankind today.
Spurs,
right?
Spurs.
So turn the lights on,
Spurs.
Craig.
Before you go on,
why is it in the dark?
Before you go on.
Yeah, why is this in the dark, Craig?
Nothing's in the dark.
Spurs. Yeah, turn the lights on. Let's see the container.
Spurs, before you go on, what I am showing you is gas pressure next to a vacuum with no physical barrier between them.
Where's the container?
The container is the vacuum chamber that it is in.
So turn the lights on. Let's see where the container is.
What do you mean turn the lights on?
So what's this dark area? What's
That's
this black area?
That's the inside of a nuclear reactor.
Yeah, inside a container, Craig.
Yes, and nobody says that like what you need to understand, Spurs. This is very important.
This is following the laws of physics.
Shh. Oh, don't interrupt. Stop flapping your lips for a second and listen. Okay, our model does not say there is a vacuum without a container. That is a straw man that flat earthers have come up with.
What is your container then?
The universe.
What is the edge?
The universe.
What is that solid? Okay, what is that solid barrier? What is it? What's it made of?
The edge of the universe. No one says it has to be a solid barrier. You don't need a solid barrier for a container, by the way.
Yeah, for pressure, you need a solid. You need a solid.
No, absolutely 100% incorrect. You don't.
Yeah, for something to hit off, you need pressure.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go back to this picture then, Spurs. I want you to. Hold on. I want you to. Those words that you just said. You need a surface to hit off of. What are
pressure? Yeah.
Okay. Now, you don't. Listen. What are the molecules in that ring pressing off to cause the pressure?
Turn the lights on. I'll be able to tell you.
Spurs, you can see that there is nothing next to that blue band, right?
But without the container, this doesn't work, right?
I'm showing you an image of it working, Spurs. Don't just deny what I'm saying.
Without the container.
Spurs, I'm showing you an image in front of you. Now listen and answer.
I'm asking you though.
Spurs,
if you remove that
shut the
container,
fuck up and listen, Spurs. Alright? Be quiet and listen to the question and then answer the fucking question, alright? Those molecules in that band, what are they pressing off to cause the pressure?
Well, I don't know, because again, you haven't turned the lights on.
Whether you turn the lights or not, it's not going to magically make something appear around that band. What are the molecules in that band touching physically, according to you, to cause the pressure? Can you see anything? Can you see anything, Spurs? Spurs, can you see anything? Can you see anything?
I'm about to answer you. This could be magnetic, for all we know. A magnetic band.
So is magnetic physical? Is that a physical thing that you can touch, is it?
No, we don't know if it's just a magnetic band of some kind. Or electricity.
That band is a high pressure area of ionized gas with a nitrogen impurity to allow you to see the blue colour. Where is the physical container around that pressure, Spurs? Where is it? Where is the physical container, Spurs, around that pressure? Spurs, where is it? What, Spurs, where is the physical container? Answer the question.
You're not letting me explain.
No. You're going to answer the question directly, or you're not going to say anything. Spurs,
I am answering
shut the fuck
up.
Well, shut up.
Can I say something?
No, wait, I'm gonna push this point. I'm gonna push this point with
Well, I think he's about to dig his own grave if he answers this question. He wants to answer that it's a magnetic force. That there is a force that is organizing this, and that's exactly how Earth's atmosphere works. There's a force organizing it. There's a force separating Earth's atmosphere from the...
Nonetheless, Tony,
there is an observable force.
Where's the
Without
container,
that-
Spurs? Where's the container around that pressure, Spurs? Where is it? Is it there?
No,
Yes or no?
No, there's no container there. It doesn't need to be.
Well, exactly. Therefore, you do not need a physical container to have pressure, you moron. Understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, without that container, you would never be able to do this.
Where's the physical container around that pressure, Spurs?
Oh, for goodness sakes, because you've got something organised inside the container, you think, oh, this is not a container. Of course it's a container.
No, there is no, your words where you need a physical surface to cause the pressure. What physical surface is causing the pressure around that band, you fucking moron?
I have another question.
Organised of some sort, okay? Without the container,
Where's the physical surface, Spurs?
We'll never know because we need to get inside the container to check it out.
No, you can look at it and see there is no physical
How can
surface.
we see it? What, did you put your hand inside and have a look? Did you get inside that and have a look?
Spurs, I am literally showing you it right now. Can you see a
and you're
physical?
guessing what's
Spurs,
happening
shut the
because
fuck
you
up.
didn't go
Spurs,
Yeah,
shut the
you
fuck
guessed.
up. No, shut up. I'm not guessing. I am showing you a video. Can you see a physical surface around that band of pressure? Yes or no?
Yeah, we don't know what's going on.
No.
Never been
Yes
inside
or
the
no,
container.
Okay,
Spurs.
so
Fucking
I'm
moron.
going to step in. The answer
Well, we
is
haven't been
no.
inside
And
that
it- you know,
container.
Shut up, Spurs.
How can we know
So-
what's going on?
Shut up, Spurs.
So, Chemo, your arguments are entirely circular. You assert that you're intelligent and you're a very intelligent person who doesn't need to concede the authority or expertise of other people because you've worked out this stuff that these other people didn't work out. Well, yes, that's one possible explanation for that set of observations. The other one is that you guys are delusional, right?
Possibly, yeah,
and-
definitely. If you
Yeah,
could show
so-
an experiment that we were delusional, that the Earth is actually a globe, then of course. But as long as you
Okay,
guys
so-
don't have an experiment,
So you
then of course,
believe
how can we
you
ever think that we're
believe that there's a
delusional?
I don't have an
you
experiment.
believe
Oh,
that there's
sorry.
you believe that there's a
go back to it.
massive international conspiracy that has been operating for at least 6 decades that has
Absolutely.
employed hundreds of thousands of people, none of whom have ever testified to its existence, and nobody who has been approached to be recruited into this conspiracy has ever said, no, I'm not going to lie on your behalf. And every scientist, every individual who has been handpicked for their intellectual ability, their ability at abstract problem solving, every single one of those people is either a part of the conspiracy or too staggeringly stupid and incompetent to figure out that they're being lied to. And you believe that.
It's not that easy.
You
to
believe
do.
all of that.
No. Again, didn't happen overnight. Okay, so obviously the British Empire have been working very hard to marshal the four corners of the earth. Now, we know Australia, South Africa, South America, and America have all been colonized for a good reason, because the people around the edge of the earth could have revealed the shape, could have revealed what was beyond the wall and all these types of things. So all they've done is dumb down the nation, dumb down the people. It's not that people are not smart. People can figure these things out for themselves.
Spurs,
but they've worked very hard.
No,
on
I'm just going to stop you there.
propaganda.
I'm not in the mood for just unfounded conspiracy theories. Stick to the point, please.
It's not
And
conspiracy
let's-
theories.
No, it
Let's-
absolutely is.
let's
We're
take a-
not having bullshit,
let's-
batshit, crazy conspiracy theories. You
let's-
answer the
let's take
questions
a-
that
let's-
Tony has put into you, or
Well,
you,
Tony
you know.
asks, how did
Let's-
it happen? He wants to know, how did all this happen? How did the whole war get defeated?
No, I didn't want. What I wanted and what I got was you to admit that you are delusional. You have this insane conspiracy theory. That was the experiment you asked for.
It's
You
an
asked for
ad-hom
an
here,
experiment
Tom,
demonstrating.
Because you could
No,
just
it's not.
demonstrate
It's
that
not
I'm
an
wrong.
add-on.
You could have said,
No,
here it is.
that
because
is
you
a
could just
that is a.
demonstrate right now that the Earth is a globe. You could say, instead of saying someone
Cool.
else can show us, you could say right now I can demonstrate the Earth is curving. Right now, you
I
can't
can
do that.
demonstrate the Earth is.
Right, demonstrate the Earth is curving then, right now.
No problem.
Okay,
That's quite
give
easy.
me a few minutes. Who should I send the
Just-
link to my Geodesy thing?
Just send me an email.
Okay.
And Spurs, every time you say prove the Earth is curving, I only have to show this and I win the argument. That is a live
Okay,
picture.
so that is CGI. That is a
no, shut up. No. You don't get to make unfounded claims. That is a live image from space taken within the last 10 minutes. All right?
For goodness sakes, who took this picture?
The Himawari satellite.
So how did the Himawari get there?
It was launched in a rocket and put into a geostationary orbit.
Right, let's have a look then. Show its journey there.
The
Right now,
launch
prove
of
it, demonstrate it. Stop beating around the bush and let's see how that satellite got there.
The launch of Himawari is available to see. I'm pretty sure Reds may have recorded. I'm not sure. Maybe it was before.
Yeah, so let's see an uncut stream straight to space where they deployed the satellite.
Why? Who says we have to show you that?
To prove it, you're trying to prove that we're on a ball. That this is not fake.
This image shows you that we're on a ball. You don't get to question the evidence for no reason. The evidence is there. No. That is a live image from space, and it has been demonstrated. This is a live image from space.
You say
shut up. The Australian and the Japanese weather companies use this as live data. All right, they pay people to operate this satellite for data. So therefore, it is really in space. I'm proving it right now because that is.
I'm asking you to prove it.
Right, there's the picture. I'm proving it right now. The image was taken 10 minutes ago.
You're not proving how the satellite got there.
So
I don't need to. We've shown satellites going into space many times.
Yeah,
so
this is CGI.
No, you don't get to say it's CGI.
You cannot say that is real, Craig, when we know what reality
I can.
looks like.
I can. That is real.
Chemo.
So back to Tony. Do you have any absolute empirical, practical data that the Earth is actually like water is curving around the surface of an object? Do you have any proof of that?
I've sent Craig a link to my latest video, which contains 10 different proofs of the shape of the Earth.
Fantastic. Let's take a look at this.
And when he brings that up, we'll discuss that. But I have a question for you. Do you accept that in reality people are able to fire artillery shells and hit what they're aiming?
Fire artillery shells? Well, yeah, like in the military or something.
Yep. Okay. So.
No, just on the weekend jolly.
So you accept that happens.
Right.
Now, the physics behind that is well understood. Can you, if I ask you, suppose we've got a cannon that is aimed at 30 degrees to the horizontal, and the projectile leaves the muzzle of the cannon at 1,000 meters per second. What is the upward component of its velocity? Would you know how to calculate that?
No.
Okay. But I do, and any basic physics student does. Okay. So.
Newton's third law.
Sorry. Sorry, my bad.
Okay. So if you go to again about 10 minutes in, we'll start there.
Earth, it does not work on a flat.
A bit another minute along.
Simple case apply thousands of marine Earth. Celestial positioning and spiral navigation have been used successfully for hundreds of years to navigate across Earth's surface. One of the most triumphant was recorded at a number of
Okay, you can turn off the audio, it's not necessary. So just pause it here. So this is data from the Macquarie Rise earthquake that occurred on Christmas Eve 2004. The epicenter of the earthquake is the red star. The little red circles indicate seismic stations that received seismic energy from that earthquake. Okay. The more intense the red, the closer they are. The earlier they got the signal, the closer they are to the epicenter. That blue circle is the last seismic station to receive the energy from the earthquake. In this particular framework, the energy kept on expanding out, but we are here looking at the time slice between 11 minutes and 12 minutes after the event. Okay, so on the left is the equidistant projection focused on the epicenter of the earthquake. On on the right is the azimuthal equidistant projection focused on the North Pole, which is the preferred map projection. Okay, I'll accept that most flat earthers aren't going to stake their lives on that being accurate, but it's got to be in the ballpark. You can see in the plot on the left that the seismic energy is radiating outwards at a pretty constant velocity and in a circular fashion. On the right-hand plot, it's going all over the place. The seismic energy has travelled from the side of the Earth to the exact, to pretty much the exact opposite side of the Earth in less than 12 minutes. That's a distance of 40,000 kilometres in 720 seconds. That's absurd. It's not physically possible for the waves to travel that fast. And furthermore, the waves are in this bizarre non-circular, energy radiates out in circles like ripples in a pond. If you've got a point source deformation. Now you can go on another 2 minutes ahead of this one.
Just before we carry on with that, Tony, one sec. Reds is quickly joined with an announcement that he needs to make that's quite important. Reds, over to you quickly.
Okay.
Yep. All right. You all can hear me just fine?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm not joining this debate. I'm just here to point out something. I'm currently posting a video link in the live chat. That video link goes to a scam in progress. It is a Bitcoin scam, and it's complete and total bullshit. So what I would like people to do is go to that video link and report the ever-living shit out of it. Go to the little flag icon that says report, click that shit, go to spam or misleading, and then the drop-down, scams or fraud. Click that shit and report it. These are Bitcoin scammers. They've been doing this shit for 2 fucking days now, and I quite frankly am sick of it. So, again, these are Bitcoin scammers.
Yesterday at one point there was 5, maybe 6 streams of the same thing, of Elon Musk talking live, pretending it is a channel from Elon Musk, saying that if you give Bitcoins, then they're going to immediately give you back double what you've given. So
exactly.
Don't fall for it.
Exactly. It's complete bullshit. So what I've been doing is I've been hammering these scammers head on, and I've been reporting it to Team YouTube on Twitter, but of course they don't do shit unless they feel like it, so we're going to have to do the work for them. If a shit ton of people report this shit at the exact same time, then we might get their fucking attention. So I'm posting
like
the video.
40,000 people watching, right?
Yeah, there was one yesterday of 160,000 watching.
Yeah, they're all fake subscribers, fake watchers. They're trying to give off this impression that they are legitimate. Do not be fooled. They are not legitimate. So that is the link to report. Again, this is a Bitcoin scam. Flag the shit out of it. And with that, I am turning off the cunt signal. It has done its job. The rest of you, have a good night. I'm out.
Cheers, Reds. Thanks very much.
Catch you later, Reds.
Cheers, cheers.
Good to see you, Reds. I mean, Reds was one of the first people that I debated in this.
Newton's third law.
Oh,
yeah, sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, Reds has been deceived, Tony, just like yourself here. So obviously NASA worked very hard to deceive people, and Craig here, and team here.
I mean, Reds goes and records the stuff live, so.
Can I ask you why the dispersion of seismic waves is how this dispersion of seismic waves is consistent with the flat Earth geometry that you propose?
I mean, this doesn't explain flat or globe, right? I mean, this just says you have movement on the Earth. You have plates. Plates obviously don't curve. No. You know, plates are flat. Plates are level. Plates are horizontal. And, this sounds more like a flat
You're
Earth.
Exactly wrong.
Well, these plates wouldn't curve around the exterior of an object.
The observed plate geometries don't work on a flat surface.
One sec, guys. I just want to say sorry. Team, I am so sorry. For some reason, I forgot to turn off the auto mixing, and you were muted. You were trying to say something. I am very sorry.
So look, I mean, Tony, I mean, look, I understand you're interested in research and things like this, and just probably parroting what you've been told. But again, we're looking for first-hand science. We're looking for people to do experiments to prove any wild claims out there. Now, if there's a phenomenon that needs answering,
this isn't answering my question, right? I just asked you to explain why why that pattern of seismic wave travel times, why is that not consistent with the, it is demonstrably not consistent with the flat Earth geometry, right? The panel on the right here would require that seismic waves are traveling much, much faster than they are physically capable of doing in order to get from one side of the Earth to the exact opposite side of the Earth in less than 12 minutes.
Okay, right? So you'd have to speak to a seismologist or an expert in this field, someone who knows how earthquakes work, and they'd be able to answer this.
Yeah.
I mean,
the guy you're talking to?
That's me, right?
You're literally talking to someone with like a doctorate in that
but you're
shit,
asking
man.
me questions about seismology there, Tony.
So,
and,
but
your
conclusion...
but let's think about this.
Here I am an expert in seismology.
Yeah, but if you can't be an expert. If your conclusion is globe, you're obviously wrong.
Oh my god. That is the literal definition of cognitive dissonance.
No! That is,
Tony, if water cannot curve around the exterior of an object without a force, how can your findings...
But there is a force. There is a force. There's a gravitational force.
There
is a gravitational force.
Tony, what is gravity?
Gravity is the phenomenon that causes the downward acting force near... Well, gravity is the attractive force operating between any two masses.
What's that attraction? How does that attraction work? What's the mechanism?
Don't know. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
There, then? So how do we know it's there then?
How do I know you have a brain?
Well, we have doctors who work in biology, and they've
seen your brain?
worked in the medical field.
Do you have any images of your brain that you can show me?
We have CAT scans, we have X-rays, we have all sorts of ways.
Yes,
now,
we, and the people who develop those are scientists and technicians who understand that the world is round. Yeah. So you're willing to accept their expertise when it comes to measurement and observation in medicine.
Hey, Spurs, can I ask you a serious question? Were you ever born at any time?
Yeah, I was born at a particular time.
Can I see a photo? Can I see a video of from the point of your conception to when your mum gave birth? Can I see that video, please?
If that was a wild claim, yeah, then of course.
Have you got that video or not? Have you got the video of that or not?
If it was a wild claim, then absolutely I would have.
Well, you've got absolutely no proof that you were ever born, Spurs.
It's not a wild claim, though, Craig.
Oh, I mean, it's a pretty wild claim that you just showed out of nowhere. Let teams say something.
I'd like to add just one thing here, okay? I'd like to add just one thing, and I want to point out, Spurs, your cognitive dissonance here. When you just said, when Tony asked you if you had a brain, right? Because we've never seen your brain. We have no way of, me and Tony have no way of empirically knowing for a fact that you have a brain. And your answer was, well, because I'm alive and there are doctors out there who specialize in this and they've, you know, we know that I have a brain because I would not be alive. Biology, anatomy, whatever you want to say. The argument you want to use is the same argument. Science, great, science. The argument that you want to use is the same argument that we can use. How is it okay for you to say, I know I have a brain because of science, but we can't say we know that there's gravity because of the many fields of science that rely on gravity, on the existence of gravity?
Like Tony.
You've got a cognitive dissonance, man.
For instance, hitting a target with an artillery shell, right? Performing that calculation accurately relies on incorporating gravity into your calculations.
100%.
So you saying that gravity doesn't exist or gravity's wrong would mean that we shouldn't be able to hit the broadside of a barn with an artillery shell, because the techniques we're using to calculate their trajectories are completely wrong. Yet we do it reliably. So,
but yet again, you don't know what
reality
is, right? You don't know what causes gravity.
I don't need to know in order to. I don't need to know. I don't need to know how my brain works, right? Our understanding of how brains work is very, very limited. Our understanding of how the liver works. The liver produces over 2,000 different enzymes. Their properties, we don't know what they all do. But that doesn't stop livers from working just because we don't understand everything about them.
Okay, but you're asking why things fall.
May I interject?
We know it's nothing to do with gravity, right?
Spurs, let team.
Okay,
we know nothing of the sort.
Spurs, let me give you a kind of an idea to how to grasp this concept a little better. If you have a basketball and you put your finger along two of the lines that run around the basketball, okay? These lines are great circles, by the way. So we put it at the equator of the basketball, there's a line that runs around this way as well. So if we put our fingers there and we follow those lines up to the top, they get closer and closer. Are our fingers gravitationally attracted together, or do they appear to gravitationally attract towards each other because they're following the curvature of the basketball?
Well, it was not because of any attraction, right? You caused it.
Hold on. You're not just answer the question, because if you try to take the question into another direction, you're going to get lost.
You said,
if I run my finger up along the basketball,
there's no attraction.
Right. So there's no attraction. That force doesn't exist, but it does appear that they're attracting to one another. Correct? If you didn't have the basketball to see there, it would appear that your fingers are going like this. That is what gravity is. It's a consequence. It's a consequence of curvature being of you following a geodesic in the curvature of space-time. To an outside observer, it looks like anything following those curvatures are going to be gravitationally attracted to one another, but it's not actually a force. What it is it's an apparent force that's a result of space-time being curved and you following a straight line in curved space-time. That is what gravity is.
I understand that. Yeah, I mean, obviously Newton came along and said there's an attraction. Then Einstein came along and said, no, it's the bending of space-time. So the idea is that the Earth was a ball. They needed to explain why the water and objects stick to the spherical object. And, you need to prove that the Earth is actually curving. You need to prove that there is a force pulling the object.
Done that.
And there's no science behind this. We're just left with...
Your argument is completely...
You know for a fact that there has been geodetic surveying that has measured the curvature of the Earth. I've shown you the webpage with all the measurements where all of the triangles have angles that add up to greater than 180. That is impossible if the Earth is flat.
How can the water drop below the water level? How does the water drop? How can you have a lower elevation of water when it's level?
What do you mean lower elevation?
So let's say you've got the water level, you're at the beach, and the water from you to the horizon is level, and you're saying beyond that horizon the water is dropping. It's at a lower elevation.
No, I'm saying that, this is the way to think about it. Spurs.
So when the sun
hold on, let me answer the question. Spurs,
below our feet.
Spurs, you need to stop and let me answer the question. If you are standing at the beach looking out at the horizon, the water rises up to the horizon from your eyesight, and then curves away after that. Because you're not looking.
You're saying at the horizon it's going down below our feet.
Yes, well, not below. Below is towards the Earth. It's a level. Is the curve of the Earth. Sorry, Tony. Back to you.
No, it's not level, Craig. It's below, like the sun.
No.
I would prefer.
Right.
Okay, so the concept of up-down only works very close to your location. It's a local reference frame. Vertical and horizontal are local reference frame. You cannot extend your vertical frame of reference to the water that is out at the horizon. That water has a different concept of what is vertical and what is horizontal than you do. Okay, so that water is not lower than you are.
It's not below me, no?
You know, no, it's not below you.
So the horizon's not below my eye level?
There is a downward angle at your eyes. There is a downward angle.
Is that parallel, straight ahead of me, below, above? Is it parallel, below or above me?
Parallel to what?
To the water level or to my eyesight?
Okay, water level is a curved surface, so if it's parallel, it's curved too.
The water level is curved?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what the word level means, Spurs. We've been through this.
So you're saying the canal is curved. You can show that a canal is curving.
Oh, the Bedford level showed that.
Yes.
No, the Bedford level showed that it was completely level.
No. The Bedford level showed that it was curved when it was done properly. Now, I would like, Spurs, before we go on, I would like you to do me one thing. Read the part that I have highlighted there.
Conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of the Earth's surface.
That is the definition of level, okay?
Yeah, and it says there, parallel with the plane of the horizontal.
Yes.
Click on horizontal.
That can also... Well,
that is an alternative definition of level.
Yes.
So
we are looking at this definition right now.
But that's a you know, so, and that's the local framework. That's the local.
Having parts higher than another, Craig. So you're saying the water is below.
No. Elevation is with reference.
Feet.
Elevation is with reference to the mean sea level. So higher than another means in relation to what the sea level is. And as you can see there, level means conforming to the curvature of. As we can see there, Spurs. Don't talk when I'm talking. As we can see there, level means conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of Earth's surface. Every time you say water is level, that is what you are saying.
No, I'm saying that it has no parts.
Can we go back to my presentation for a moment, please?
Yes, absolutely. As long as Spurs understands that every single time you say level, you mean...
I'm sticking with your definition.
Conforming to the curvature...
higher. No, go to the first part.
And that is
the first part.
Spurs, and even that is in relation to a geoid.
Okay, so having no part higher than another. So that means...
Yes, so that...
You see how they are linked? You see how they are linked?
It'll be absolutely parallel, horizontal. It won't have one bit higher,
it doesn't. Tell me where it says parallel or horizontal in the bit I am highlighting, Spurs. Go with the meaning.
It says it in your definition.
Which part am I where I'm highlighting?
Not in the part you highlight.
No, exactly. No, it doesn't, because the definition I'm talking about is that. Yeah, okay.
That's called cherry picking, Craig.
No, it's not, because their words have different meanings, Spurs. That is not cherry picking.
Yeah, it tells you there, having no part higher than another. That means level and parallel.
How can you level, when it says higher than another, it means in relation to mean sea level, which is the curve of the Earth. Elevation means height. Yes, it does. Shut up, Spurs. No, Spurs, shut up. You don't get to redefine words. Elevation means in relation to sea level. Sea level is curved. Do not say it wrong again.
Look, it tells you...
Shut up. No. End of discussion. End of discussion. I win. My point.
Look, let's go to my presentation.
Yeah.
I just want to go through this. Okay, so can we go to the 2-minute mark in that and just pause there?
They even put a line underneath the word horizontal.
Okay, so...
Spurs, the conversation's done.
Okay, so here we're looking at the angular elevation of Polaris as we move further and further away from the North Pole. Now, since we've got an angular elevation and we've got a distance, if the Earth were flat, we can use that angle to calculate the height of Polaris. We get different values depending on our latitude. Not consistent. This suggests that our assumption that the Earth is flat is false. Let's go on to the next slide. Can you just go along to the next slide? Yep, that one. Whereas on a spherical Earth, the angle of observation to a distant star is simply your latitude, and that explains why, as you move a fixed distance away from the North Pole, the angle changes by a fixed degree. Can you go on to the next slide, please? While we've discussed Polaris, you can actually do this for any star, and in particular, you can do it for the Sun. Here I'm showing the equinox. So at the equinox, at noon on the equinox, as the Sun is crossing your meridian of longitude, observers at different distances in the equator are going to observe the Sun at different elevation angles. Again, you can use those elevation angles if the Earth is flat to calculate its altitude, and you get different numbers again. Excuse me, which suggests that that our assumption that the Earth is flat is incorrect. Can you go on another 2 slides, please? That's just the shape of the Earth on the Moon during eclipses. Okay, go on to slide. That's a spectacular illustration of the fact that the Sun, the angle
we've
to the
debunked
Sun.
that one, Tony. Tony, we debunked that.
Okay, no, you haven't. You just think you. So.
Let me tell you before you ramble on.
Go to the next. Go to the next slide.
Okay.
You're going to come up with piecewise. You're going to come up with piecewise explanations for all of these that rely on the most bizarre contortions.
No,
Here
that
are
mountain
two.
one's been debunked.
The Earth has 2 poles of rotation. And that is inconsistent with there existing a single celestial vault. Can you go on to the next slide? Okay, this picture was taken in 1965. Is that CGI?
That's a fisheye lens.
No, it isn't. You can prove.
That's a Hasselblad camera with an 80mm lens. I believe.
And they've curved the camera.
No,
they haven't, and you can prove.
Do you know that for a fact? Hold on. Do you know that for a fact? Yeah. Do you know that for a fact, or did you just say that just to explain the immediate?
100%.
You know what? Then when was this picture taken? When was this picture taken, and where was the where's the evidence for that?
1965. They said. 1965.
Okay, no, you're reading that on the screen. Okay, I need your the source file for the picture that you're right. So you just are saying it's fisheye. Yeah. Hold on, you're just saying fisheye because that's the only answer you have, and you need an immediate answer to discount what the opposition and stick to your beliefs. Sorry, man, that's not how it works. You need to have evidence for any assertion that you make. Your immediate assertion is that this is a fisheye lens. How do you know?
Yeah. Because when you take a balloon without fisheye lens, you have completely flat and completely level.
But if the Earth is flat, why can I only see a limited distance here?
Perspective.
Why is the that doesn't explain anything. Go on another couple of slides.
Things get smaller as they get further away from it.
This is the reciprocal trigonometric leveling the team was talking about. If you've got two azimuthal telescopes and you make sure through water leveling, laser leveling, or whatever that they're pointing straight up from the Earth's surface, then if the Earth was flat, those angles theta1 and theta2 inside that we can measure very precisely ought to add up to exactly 180 degrees because those are parallel. Those upward rays are parallel. Whereas, in fact, every time we do this experiment, we observe that they add up to more than 180 degrees, as in the bottom figure. That means that the upward rays are diverging, and that, again, is simply not consistent with a flat Earth. Can you go on to the next slide, please?
I just want to say that I've just actually gone and looked at the specifications of the camera they used to take those images, and no, Spurs, the lens was not fisheye. 100% not fisheye. You can look at the specifications yourself if you don't believe me, but no, that image that Tony showed was not taken with fisheye.
Well, we know the Earth is not curved
And
like
Spurs,
that.
I'd give you a lot more. I'd give you a lot more credit. I'd give you a lot more credit is if you were to say, instead of just saying, "Oh, it's fisheye," instead of just saying that as an automated response, I'd love it if you'd actually say, "Well, hey, why don't you give me all the details on the photo, and I'll do my own research, and I'll get back to you on the what I come to find out." That's much more respectable than just saying, "Oh, fisheye." Because then to us, it seems like you're not even really participating in the conversation at that point. You're just saying whatever immediate response thing you know to say.
I've been doing this for 6, nearly 7 years now. So through experience, I know that when they've taken high altitude balloons, when you take the right camera, the Earth is flat and completely level.
You know I can disprove that with one video, right?
So this slide shows what happens if you take 3 points on Earth's surface and you measure the angles along the great circles joining them. When you add up those angles, you always get more than 180 degrees, and if the Earth were flat, you should only get 180 degrees. So we conclude from this that the Earth is not flat again. And we move along to the next slide, please.
Yeah, one sec.
Okay, observation 8. Up the top there is the formula for the angular distance between 2 points whose latitude and longitude we know. Okay, we can turn that into the great circle distance between them by multiplying by an estimate of the Earth's radius. That distance estimate that we derive from that technique is always accurate. It's not precise, but it's always a pretty good estimate, regardless of which 2 points on Earth's surface you pick. And you can go and test it in Google Earth if you want. If you go into Google Earth and you pick 2 points, you get their latitudes and longitudes. You can calculate the distance between them using this formula, and it is always accurate. Now that cannot be the case if the Earth is flat. Next slide, please. And we used our ability to calculate distances and angles on the Earth to navigate. It's essential. What I've shown here is on the azimuthal equidistant projection from the North Pole, the shortest route from Entebbe International Airport to Supadio International Airport in Indonesia. And if the Earth were flat, then the course you would take, the shortest course you would take, is to aim 52 degrees to the east of north and fly in a straight line, and that'd get you much faster than flying directly east. Further, if the Earth were flat and you flew directly east and just flew in a straight line, you wouldn't get to Supadio. But in fact, that's exactly what happens. If you fly east and just fly in a straight line, don't touch the controls, you're going to end up east of where you started. You're not going to fly, you're not going to end up at some random point in the southern hemisphere. And if you do go to Entebbe International Airport, take a bearing 52 degrees east of north and fly in a straight line, you're not going to end up in Indonesia. And next slide, please. Okay, we can use distances and bearings and celestial navigation, celestial positioning, to navigate, to work out where we are and where we need to go. When William Bligh was thrown off the Bounty, he had to navigate more than 6,000 kilometers to get to safety, and he couldn't make landfall because he was afraid of being attacked by the locals. He lost a crew member early on in the voyage, so he couldn't make landfall. He had to do an exact calculation of how much water and how much food he had and make that journey. And he was able to, using spherical geometry and celestial positioning. And people have been doing this successfully for hundreds of years. Every time, every one of those journeys was an observational validation of the spherical geometry of Earth. Every single one of them. And, we can go skip forward another couple of slides, please. That's the one that we've already discussed. This one, yeah.
So here we're going to look at Rayleigh waves, and Rayleigh waves are a type of surface wave, and they actually go around the Earth more than once. R1 is the Rayleigh wave that's going from the seismic source to the observation station. R is where that first Rayleigh wave comes back around the Earth and hits the seismic station again. R2 is the Rayleigh wave that went in the opposite direction, has come around the far side of the Earth, and has come up behind the seismic station. How does that work on a flat Earth?
Spurs, how does this work on a flat Earth?
How does any of it work on a flat Earth? You say you've demonstrated this, and it's just nonsense.
None of this is science. This is your incredulity of not being able to figure out where you live. Now, if you want to figure out where you live...
Try to answer the question.
Yeah, Spurs, we're going to focus on the evidence and the question that Tony has just asked
Answer
you.
the question.
How is what Tony just explained about Rayleigh waves possible on a flat Earth?
Spurs, listen, you do this a lot. Like, somebody asks you a question, and it's an engaging question. They're asking you a question so that you engage with them back in the subject that they just tried to talk to you about. And what you do is you go, that's not real science, this over here. No, answer his question. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, again, if you want to know how something works, you have to test it. Where is his test to show how this works?
Fascinatingly enough, Spurs, the tens of thousands, well, you can go to a university and you can study seismology, and they will teach you about the tens of thousands of seismic events that have been studied and the methodology that has been used to assess them. And the thousands of seismic stations
you should be embarrassed that are used to observe. You call yourself a scientist.
Spurs, shut up and listen.
But this is embarrassing for science and your community.
Not in the slightest.
There are
it's
three
very...
of you here, and there
Spurs,
is not one bit of science.
Shut the fuck up, moron boy. It's not embarrassing for us in the slightest. You cannot answer questions. We are going to push this issue, this one question.
I'm the student.
Shut up! Shut up! We are going to push
questions.
You're not a student. I want to leap on that one. You're not a student.
No.
We spoke for 2 hours last time, and you didn't learn anything, right? So you're not here to study. You're not here to learn.
I'm here to find out what your class is all about. To peddle a
conspiracy theory.
Well, are you involved in it, Tony? Are you part of this conspiracy theory?
Clearly, if it's real, he would have to be, because his job would require him to lie about what he is doing.
Are you interested in the truth, Tony?
But Spurs, we are not going to get sidetracked. We are going to focus.
Presented the truth.
We're going to focus on this one question. Tony has asked you, how is the observable phenomenon of Rayleigh waves possible on a flat Earth?
I would have to test that claim if it's a phenomenon.
It's been tested. They measure it all the time with the thousands of seismic stations all around the Earth. The observations are that the Earth is not flat. The Rayleigh times do not allow for that to be the case.
So that shows that your conclusions are incorrect.
No.
Sorry.
No, because no. We're not starting that with the Earth is flat. We're not starting with the observable fact. The Earth is not a globe. Okay, we're going to let the evidence drive us to our conclusion. All right. That's how it works.
So if we experiment.
No, you fucking morons wouldn't know what you're fucking doing.
Spurs, I wouldn't let flat earthers flip my burgers for me at McDonald's, let alone do experiments.
Well, we're the guys who figured out that
struggle to Velcro their shoes, bro. No, you're the ones that say it's not a globe. But you're also the ones who fucking think that you hammer nails into the wall with your forehead.
So you haven't done an experiment. You don't know. You know that question I asked you about the shell leaving a gun and breaking it into vertical and horizontal components, breaking the velocity into vertical and horizontal components. That is the first problem you will be set as a physics student. Right?
No, I'm a scientist.
You're not a scientist, Spurs. Do not disrespect every scientist on the planet.
You know, you're a scientist who cannot name a single experiment he's done.
Well, again, it depends on what the phenomenon was. Now, was there a phenomenon that you've seen in nature that you're
like chewing and swallowing without choking yourself? Probably you're capable of breathing without conscious thought. It seems like it,
I don't know.
But really, nothing of any scientific value whatsoever.
So we're going to keep pushing this point, though, right? So let's just get to focus on the point, right? The observable, empirical fact of Rayleigh waves and their arrival times, the measurements do not make sense for any kind of flat map, right? So please explain to us how the observations happen if the Earth is flat.
Fair enough. Where are the experiments? Show me the experiment.
Tony, would you like to explain to him about how we actually gather this data?
No, not the explanation. Show me the experiment that you did, and I'll give you the answer.
That's not how this works.
Oh, you're going to just make up the answer.
Spurs,
tell me you guessed.
Spurs, let Tony explain to you how the data is actually gathered.
So there are seismic stations positioned at that are set up at a lot of locations. A lot of them, originally they were co-located with observatories, but we've worked out that actually we need a much denser coverage than that. If you give me it's probably not worth it, but you can look at a map of seismic stations that provide as much coverage as we can. Now, we observed that the energy from seismic events is detectable at a distance from the seismic event. So we test our understanding of this process by looking at smaller examples. So what we do is we set up a known source either at the surface or at depth, either an explosive or some sort of concussive device like a hammer or an acoustic device, and we use that to apply a seismic shock to the Earth. And then we've got sensors all around it that observe how the energy from our controlled, repeatable seismic source spreads out through a solid medium. Okay? And we verify that the patterns of behavior we observe match the material properties that we see in the laboratory, where we take small samples of rock and we run acoustic waves through them, and we see that the properties of the rock as observed in controlled circumstances in the laboratory match very well with, once we combine them with our theory, with the propagation of seismic waves in our controlled, repeatable experiment. Now, having developed our theory there and ensured that it is accurate by using it to locate subsurface velocity discontinuities, we then take the same theory and we apply it to the much larger seismic events that occur in nature. And there are a lot more of those. So we take our theory and we take it from the laboratory into the field and then into the wild, so to speak, into the broader observational arena. That's how it's done. And if you want me to explain to you in simple terms, stepping through each of it, you're going to have to dedicate 5 years of your life.
No, can we play my video now, team, on rockets? Because that's what people are waiting for. They want to see.
We will play your entire video, right, without interruptions, once you address this point. All right?
Yeah, but I've just told you I haven't tested it. I have no idea.
You don't need to test it, right? This is a map. I'm showing you right now a map of seismic stations all around the Earth, all right? As you can see, there's thousands of them. They use these seismic stations and
nice flat map. Mm-hmm. On a flat map.
Non sequitur, right?
This works on a flat map here.
No, right. Now, then they use the arrival times and the known way that seismic energy travels through solid objects to map a shape, right, and using arrival times of waves, you actually only get a globe when you map it. Okay, this wouldn't be an accurate representation. You only get a globe when you map the arrival time of seismic waves, and rally waves happen when the seismic paths go round the Earth several times, and the math is impossible on a flat Earth. So again, we will show your video. I haven't finished talking. We will show your video once you explain to us how these observations are possible if the Earth is flat. When
it's not a matter of the mathematics. It's not a matter of the mathematics. It's a matter of the observations.
Everything there seems to be working just fine.
What you just said are that the observations are wrong. We observed these waves going around the Earth multiple times.
Look, you're red herring
You can't turn around.
No, we're not.
I came here to destroy rockets in space, Craig, and now you're trying, just because I've already done that in the first half of the show,
we're going
to catch me out.
We're going to let you once you address the
I don't know about earthquakes, Craig. I've never studied earthquakes.
You don't know about anything.
I'm a seismologist.
Okay, well,
I've never even felt an earthquake.
The guy that you are talking to is an expert in that stuff. It's literally in his doctorate, and he is the authority on it because of that. And he has said that it is impossible if the Earth is flat. What do you say to that?
But he's incorrect.
No, you can't just say he's incorrect. The data that is gathered gives the answer that the Earth is not flat. We are not starting with a conclusion. We are looking at the data and seeing what the data says. The data says the Earth isn't flat.
Well, I've just told you it's incorrect. If you give that to flat earthers, we'll show you how it's supposed to be done.
How are you saying
it? You can't even calculate the trajectory
we haven't even looked
of
at that before. No flat earthers have looked at this before, have they?
You can't even calculate the trajectory of an artillery shell. What makes you think you're going to be able to model the propagation of seismic energy?
Well, give flat earthers a chance to look at this, and they'll definitely be able to answer. But right now, I don't.
They never answer anything.
You're kidding, right? If we give flat earthers a chance to look at this, they'll drool all over it. Okay, so just. No, we'll save the data. We'll give it to people who are intelligent.
No,
you don't.
The data is publicly available. The data is publicly available. If you go to the IRIS database, the International Research Institutions of Seismology, you can download the data for any event.
And it's data, not
in
data.
The public domain.
It's either, actually.
It's like day.
See, man,
data.
Spurs is being trapped in a corner. You're painting yourself in a corner.
Yes, you are trapping me. Well done, guys. I don't know anything about
That's right.
Well done. What I do know is about rockets.
You don't know anything about rockets.
No. Hold on.
Oh, well done.
You don't know anything about earthquakes. Hold on. You don't know anything about earthquakes. But listen, you don't know anything about earthquakes, right? But Tony does. Tony gives you not just a place to get the data that you say you need, number one. He also explains why exactly it's a violation of your model, and your response is, no, you're wrong because the Earth's flat. That's not it. You gave no explanatory power. You didn't tell us why it's wrong. You just said it's wrong because it shows that the Earth's a globe and the Earth's flat. Guys, we all know that. That is not the fucking given. That's not the axiom in this argument. We don't come to the argument with the understanding that the Earth is flat and say, Tony, your fucking education and data is wrong. No, we take the data and we build a model from the data. And the data itself excludes the flat Earth from being a possibility.
Yeah, like I said, we haven't researched this question. It seems that Tony is on the presupposition that the Earth is a globe.
No, you don't get to say that.
Wrong.
There is no presuppositions. Data leads to a conclusion, not the other way around.
Exactly.
Okay, so can we get on to this now? Because like I said, I came here to demonstrate and show that rockets are an impossibility when it comes to space. I have a presentation to show exactly
All right. I will give you I will allow your...
How long is this presentation?
Just 9 minutes long.
9 minutes and 18 seconds, so maybe make a cup of tea or something. So everybody, please prepare your facepalm protection. This is Spurskimo, otherwise known as Under No Pressure, with evidence presenting why
at the moment,
rockets
I think it's
aren't real.
20-0, by the way.
Oh, at least. And then there's about 8-0 to me as well. Yeah. Another super chat. Woohoo. So here we go, guys. Please, I do apologise if your brain starts to dribble out your nose. That's just what happens when Flerfs talk.
Newton's third law. For every reaction, there is an equal and opposite reaction. General movement requires an object to push off another, such as when we walk, the foot pushes off the ground. When you throw a ball, your hand pushes the ball and the ball pushes your hand. The oar pushes the water, which in turn pushes the oar, and thus the boat. Pushing or pulling involves you or your vehicle applying some force to an external object such as the floor. Let us say that the foot applied 10 newtons. The opposite force will be 10 newtons. However, there are other forces that cause movement that doesn't involve you or your vehicle pushing off an external object. Some examples are as follows. Buoyancy and the density gradient force. Force equals mass times acceleration. Acceleration due to relative density is approximately 10 meters per second square. Density applied on a 5 kilogram weight should be 50 newtons. So if you drop a 5 kilogram weight from your hand from a height, the opposite reaction on your hand will also be 50 newtons. If Newton's third law is applied exactly the way it was in the previous slides regarding walking, throwing and rowing a boat, when you drop the 5 kilogram object, did you feel the 50 newtons of force pushing back on your hand? Of course not. That's ridiculous. Buoyancy is an upward force exerted by fluid that opposes the weight of an immersed object. The following equation states the buoyant force is equal to density times gravitational acceleration times the volume of fluid displaced. Let's say we have a jug of water which has a density of 1. Yes, water has a density of 1 kilogram per litre. Put a container full of air to the bottom of the jug. Container will move to the top. The volume of the container is 200 milliliters. Using the equation, buoyancy force equation, we get approximately 2 newtons. Subtract the 1 newton or force due to density and you will have a net force of 1 newton. 1 newton equates to 100 grams on the scale. The following is the equation to calculate the pressure gradient for space of difference in pressure and density.
The driving force for wind is the pressure gradient force.
When pressure is different from one location to another, the difference in pressure exists. Now, if gas moves due to pressure gradient force calculated to be 10 newtons south, is there an opposite force applied of 10 newtons north? When the wind blows on the back of your head, did the air in the front of you push off your face when the air started to move away from you? Obviously not. As you saw in the video, the pressure gradient force was strong enough to lift the container, but that force is not seen on the scale. To lift the container, the air movement must apply a force greater than 1 newton. However, this is not seen on the scale. You can see that the scale never read above 100 grams or more than 1 newton. Additionally, free expansion of gas states that gas expanding into a vacuum does no work. How does exhaust from the rocket chamber move outside the rocket chamber? Does the rocket push the gas out like a person throwing a ball? Does gas move out due to gravity, even though it's not a force? Does the gas move out due to buoyancy? Does the gas move out due to pressure gradient force? According to MIT, a rocket in its simplest form is a chamber enclosing a gas under pressure. A small opening in one end of the chamber allows the escape of pressurized gas. Escape into low pressure sounds like pressure gradient force. The exhaust from the rocket chamber moves out of the rocket because of the pressure gradient force. So what did we learn about pressure gradient force? There is no opposite force because Newton's third law cannot be applied exactly the way it was in the previous slides regarding walking, throwing and rowing a boat. Pressure gradient force comes from potential energy, just like density and buoyancy. The balloon pushes off the atmosphere. If we put the vacuum hose near the opening of the balloon, the air moves into the hose without much resistance. When the vacuum hose is placed behind the car away from the opening of the balloon, the air meeting the resistance of the atmosphere causes flux in both cases. The vacuum hose is behind the car to remove the illusion, but it appears that it slowed the car down. As you can see, the balloon can't begin to accelerate nearly as much as when the vacuum gauge was near the balloon opening. Oh my gosh. This first equation is how NASA says how rockets work. The second equation is the fluid dynamics equation for movement of fluids through a pipe. Similarly, the rocket exhaust, which is the fluid which moves through the nozzle pipe. Both equations have velocity, so let us substitute velocity in the NASA equation with what velocity equals in the fluid dynamics equation. This is the equation you get after substitution. Mass flow rate is equal to density times volumetric flow rate. You can convert volume to mass with density. Volumetric flow rate equals mass flow rate divided by density. Now let us replace volumetric flow rate with mass flow rate divided by density. After substitution, you get 4 times the mass flow rate squared divided by pi, pipe diameter squared, and density. There is no longer a need to calculate the exit velocity. This states that mass flow rate is essentially force. This is incorrect. Get a vacuum cleaner and suck air from a pipe with only one end open, but a small hole on the side of the pipe near the closed end. There is a mass flow rate exiting the pipe, but no force is applied to the pipe. The fluid dynamics equation is used in many industries. The fluid dynamics equation is used in many industries, and the NASA equation is used by 1 or perhaps 2 industries that are mainly run by the state. So here we are faced with a direct contradiction of what observation and experiment tells us. And while NASA and other institutions tell us, why do people believe NASA? Perhaps they are allegedly the most prominent scientific community and have no other choice. Why do they lie? Like most people, lies are told to collect money. NASA collects taxpayers' money. NASA, like college students, use his money tuition, which was obtained from the parents to party and perhaps buy the girlfriend a new phone, instead of using the money to pay for school.
Well, it's good to know that JM Truth is still getting work as a director and editor.
Can I?
Thank you, Craig.
Can I ask you if you were
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
okay.
Can I ask if you were, we can hear you. Spurs,
one sec, Spurs.
May I ask a question? I just need to ask you a question before you get into explaining the video. Were you masturbating during the first half?
I mean, there are several.
I heard a lot of grunts.
And yeah.
Well, I just want to say, on my channel, there's a lot of negative comments. So I'm just hoping the guys here can give some support. Probably possible some thumbs up. Because I don't understand the reason why they're giving all the negative pressure. Is it because that we've debunked Rocket?
Well, it might be to do with the absolutely awful video production quality there, Spurs. You literally sounded like one of those text-to-speak things that you get on the internet. The amount of times you didn't edit out your mistakes was hilarious, and the overall production is the best kind of work JM Truth would,
would because having to do these things for you guys is, you know, it's not always strenuous, right? Having to teach you guys the simple things of life.
All right, Spurs. Let Tony have his response to that. I mean, whatever that was.
Can I ask you to bring up the link that I emailed you earlier, please?
Yeah. Hold on.
So you got the formula for rocket for the thrust that rockets generate, and you said that you got it from NASA, yeah. So NASA do have this is the page on NASA thrust. If you look, you will see that they have the form for exit velocity right there, right? It's the bottom formula.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, why did you pull your formula for exit velocity from hydrodynamics?
Can you show me that link there?
Can I send you the link?
No, the one for hydrodynamics.
That's what you showed.
Yeah, you're saying it's from...
My question is, why did you use the hydrodynamic formula when there's a formula right here that applies to rockets?
No, that equation there, the exit, is based on the assumption that you can leave the atmosphere.
No assumption. That's the math for it.
So what you've done is you've taken a formula, you've substituted in a formula from another field of physics, and you said, well, it doesn't make sense. Therefore,
a formula that is based on the
that's exactly what you did. Yes, that's exactly what you did. You took a formula from hydrodynamics, you stuck it into a P is pipe diameter. Also, Bligh has done the amount of unscientific gibberish in this. You're talking about if I'm holding a 5 kilogram weight and I let it go, do I feel a reaction force? Of course not. When I'm holding it, I feel the reaction force. That's the weight, right? When I stop applying a force to it, it starts moving because the force applied by the Earth's gravity. And incidentally, as the mass experiences a force downward, it generates a force on the Earth that is upward. But that force is absolutely tiny, and it is offset by all sorts of other things. So that's where Newton's third law comes into objects falling. Your argument about if wind blows on the back of your head, does air move away from the front of your head? No, the reaction force is supplied by the back of your head. It was. You talked about embarrassment earlier. If you just went to a basic physics course, you could avoid this sort of humiliation, because that was rubbish from beginning to end, and you have debunked nothing. You haven't even used a consistent set of physical equations to model the system you're supposed to be considering.
Remember, those equations are based on the presupposition here, Tony. I'm giving you a practical demonstration.
No, they're not. Rockets.
You need something to push off, and rockets do not have anything to push off.
You don't. Yes, they do.
You can't demonstrate
the exhaust chamber of the rocket.
No,
you have demonstrated.
But without the mass, Tony, you can't demonstrate that to be true.
Yes, I can, because there have been space missions where rockets have been used.
Yeah.
So, that shows that you're wrong.
Okay, so again, if you're just going to rely on, secondary, third,
if I'm going to rely on observed reality, I guess.
We've got a very good friend who was on this show not too long ago that has gone on recorded plenty of rocket launches, including the recent launch to Mars.
You're the one. You seem to be asserting that all of this stuff is fake. Rockets work. We understand how they work. That formula.
Yeah, mathematically, Tony, you're giving me a mathematical construction, and practically, like I've demonstrated in my video, which I hope your guest here.
There was no practical demonstration in your video.
There are a lot of
you
negative
didn't do
messages
a practical
on there. Again, we've had the demonstration.
Spurs, hold on, Spurs. Could you please point out where in your video there was a practical demonstration?
So
I may have missed that.
It showed there with the vacuum, with the balloon, okay, that balloon, in order to move, it needs something to push off. And if you lower the pressure around it, it cannot get the thrust.
But that's not a rocket. That's not a rocket.
Anything that moves
what you had there wasn't a rocket.
Have something to push off.
No,
this is Newton's third law.
No, it doesn't. It only has to have a force applied to it.
If your guest here can go and support, because again, like I say, there are a lot of thumbs down and a lot of negative messages.
Spurs, stop for a sec. Right, it's very, very simple. There is something that the rocket exhaust is pushing off. It's called the inside of the combustion chamber. That's
just nonsense.
How is it? Okay, tell me why it's nonsense. Tell me why an expanding gas would not cause a pressure on the inside of a combustion chamber.
Because you can't push off yourself.
I'm not saying you're pushing off yourself.
Okay.
I'm saying that an explosion is pushing off the inside of a combustion chamber.
No, the explosion will push off the container, and then after that, it needs to push off the outside.
Oh, right. So it needs to push off of two things now. So So Newton's law is that an object in motion will stay in motion unless two unbalanced forces are applied. Is that what you're saying?
No.
That's what you just said. That's what you just said. Yes, you did. That's what you just said.
You've got one solid rocket, one piece. That will fire out at the back like we see off the ground.
I don't care about what goes out the back. I'm talking about what's going on inside the combustion chamber of the rocket.
Right,
there is pressure being applied.
Rockets don't push off the ground. No, it doesn't. Rockets don't push off the ground. Right?
You need the surface to push off.
No, you don't. That's not how rockets work.
You need a surface area to push off. You can't demonstrate otherwise.
Yes, we can. The way the rockets work.
Yes, we can.
Show me you can move something without a surface area.
I showed it earlier with the
exploding can. Yeah. The exploding can. The exploding can. Before, when you see it, no. The can moves as the fluid expands out of the other side. It moves. It doesn't hit the wall and then move. It moves as it explodes.
Okay, I have a question. When a rocket moves through the atmosphere, what is the surface it's pushing off?
It's pushing off the atmosphere, right?
Okay, the atmosphere is not a surface, though, right?
Well, it's giving it an equal and opposite reaction.
So how can atmospheric pressure not be generated from pushing off of itself? Oh my God.
What?
I'm sorry. I just realized a contradiction in their argument. Spurs, how can you not say that the container that you're searching for is the atmosphere? Would it not be? Didn't you just say that a rocket is able to take off because it's pushing off of the physical atmosphere? Well, wouldn't the physical atmosphere be a container for all the atmosphere below it?
No, it's the same reason.
Man. Do you not realize your
contradiction? Or a bird, or anything that is flying flies.
Hey, every time you say something stupid, I'm gonna take another fucking shot.
Right.
How do you think a bird flies?
Spurs, right. Listen for 1 sec.
Yes,
right.
Birds aren't rocket powered, mate.
Yeah. So imagine you're standing
they generate lift.
Spurs. Imagine you're standing on a skateboard and you're holding a bowling ball, and you throw that bowling ball forward. You also move backwards.
Okay.
That's our point.
You stand on the ground though, right?
Yeah, but where's the surface that the ball pushed off to give you the movement in the other direction?
You are standing on the ground.
I'm not saying you're moving towards the ground. You're moving along the... Oh my... Are you really this moronic?
Yeah, but it's one system. It's all connected. You're connected.
No, it's not. To the so you're saying that no matter where I push off, it is pushing off of the ground?
Well, you've got pressure on your feet, of course. That's where the pressure points would be.
So
my brain just broke.
You are clearly confused as to why your video is not receiving any sort of positive feedback.
Well,
And
I think it's because we're damaging
quite simple. It's bollocks.
Model, yeah.
You haven't damaged anything apart from the credibility of Flat Earth.
You know, it is every time we show you observational evidence, you say, well, that must be wrong because the Earth is flat schematically. Anything that shows that it isn't is wrong. And then when we say, well, and then you say, look, I've got this theory of how this stuff works, and it's nonsense. Well, yes, but that's because you haven't used the theory that is appropriate to the system.
You can't call practical experiments nonsense, Tony. This is what you get paid for. You're supposed to provide an experiment. All you provided
you didn't provide a practical experiment at all. You didn't provide
I showed
anything.
you a balloon and then a vacuum and how we have low pressure and an object trying to move with low pressure. It had not moved.
You proved our point.
That has not proved anything. That proves that you don't
Can you
understand
show me where there is a
basic
vacuum without the
fundamentals.
container, Tony, and then that something can move? Demonstrate it right now because I have to go. If you can't, then I think we can conclude this another time.
So it's like
right
at least 15-0 to Tony.
Now, I provided
I think it's more 20.
My presentation just
25.
The whole of your points here, Tony.
No, we've already shown you that some of those without touching a surface.
You can ask the people in the chat if they agree with you.
No, again, the people are biased because they have a belief, they have a religion that they want to hold on to, just like yourself here.
You can ask every qualified scientist on the face of the planet.
Look, consensus, appeal to consensus is a fallacy here, right?
No.
Consensus does define reality, though.
Red or pink,
if we are trying to diagnose... If we are trying to diagnose whether or not a group of people are delusional, one of the metrics we can use is does their perception disagree with what is widely held to be reality?
Tony.
And you do disagree with that. And so
Tony,
we're going to suggest that it is your delusion. And unless you can do something
let's
like...
end on a good note. Come on, because we're going to have a discussion again. I've got to go. There's no need to shout and all this kind of abuse.
I've never seen you this nervous. I've never seen you this nervous.
It's really late here.
You're really good at deflection. Listen, no, you're good at deflection and retreating, but Tony and I and Fight have painted you in a corner and kept you from your normal retreat tactics and deflection tactics, and it's awesome to see you squirm the way you are right now, to be honest.
Well,
I like you generally as a person. I like you as a person, but fuck that. I have been completely fucking quiet the whole time. So no, it hasn't been 3 against 1. You can make the claim it's been 2 against 1. I've interjected 3 different times, and this is the 4th time. I just want to say I like you as a person. I feel like you do a lot of deflection and retreating, and you're very surgical about it. But we already knew you were going to be doing this, and we've kept you on point, and it's really throwing you off. It's amazing to watch you squirm the way you are right now.
Well, I mean, I've answered all the questions.
Let the paint dry. Find your way out.
You didn't answer anything.
No. You hold on. One of your answers to the questions was, well, he must have done something wrong because the Earth is flat. That was one of your answers to the questions.
No. Great debunks.
We painted you in a corner and you couldn't get out.
We have experience and observations to show that if you take a camera that high without the fisheye lens, it will not curve like that. So that's how we know these things.
Before you leave, I want to prove you wrong with that. Give me a sec. I've actually got the video here. Right, here we go. Yeah, perfect. So, you've heard of the old dog cam, right? So they take the camera up and show you that clearly it's curved. The surface is curved, right? And then they point out that there is 2 cameras on the dog cam. One of them is fisheye, and one of them isn't. And they actually show the difference between what the fisheye is and what the fisheye isn't. And this one's clearly the fisheye, and it shows the horizon going convex, concave. But when you go to the one that isn't fisheye, no matter how many times it crosses the horizon like that, the horizon stays spherical like we say it is, and shows that the Earth is curved. So without the fisheye lens, this camera does not have the fisheye lens. They've shown that. Goes across center point many times, and the Earth is curved. So you can't say the opposite happens when I am showing you evidence right now, 100%, that the dog cam, non-fisheye lens camera showed the Earth is curved.
Okay. Okay, if that's what we can leave it there. We can discuss this further.
Yeah, you can absolutely run away on that bombshell that I've just destroyed your entire worldview. Absolutely, feel free.
Now, how can you have destroyed when we'll be obviously going again? You'll be speaking to more flat earthers. This will never end, right? This will never end because we know the Earth is not a globe. This will never end.
Wait, hold on. No, I just showed you evidence the Earth is a globe. You can't say it isn't.
As long as you have no science,
stop. You can't just outright lie. I've just shown you that the Earth is not flat. I've just shown you evidence.
We can talk about that next time. Like I say, this is takes an hour-long, 2-hour-long discussion.
Yeah, cool. As long as you understand, I've just shown you that the Earth isn't flat.
The physics of water, what the horizon is, if it's the physical geometric horizon. The black swan has destroyed this argument, but again,
I've debunked the black swan. Look, there's the physical horizon. There's the actual physical horizon.
So again, the black swan has destroyed any ideas of a physical horizon. But Craig, let's get into this next time.
Well, black swan debunked right in front of you. Sorry.
Well, again, like I say, this will run. This is ongoing. Simply because you don't have the science.
10-0 to me. Thank you.
Okay. So, like I say, under no pressure. It's been getting a lot of negative.
You're under a lot of pressure right now. Don't worry. I will be covering that video. You will be getting your own episode of Flerfs Are Idiots. Congratulations. I think you're going to be episode 49.
Well, no, this explains a lot. In that video, we have a practical demonstration of low pressure not being able to push another object.
Yeah, but the Earth's not flat. I'm showing you that right now. So cool story, bro.
Hey,
okay, so thank you, Tony.
Can I ask you something, Spurs?
Thank you, Craig. Oh, okay, go on.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I've got it. No, well, if you've got to leave, I'll hold my question for another time. But I want to give you the question and let you think about it, okay? You can answer.
Yeah.
So let's say we have a rail gun, right? And it's sitting on a railroad track, okay? And it fires a projectile. That's going to force the rail gun to move backwards a little bit, right? If it fires it, if it needs to fire it further, it's going to push the car even further down the tracks. If it just needs to fire it right off the end, it might just move a little bit, just a nudge. But let's say that it consistently fired the projectile. It never stopped. It just boom, 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 boom. What would happen? Would it not push that that rail cart down the railway, all the way down the railway without ever fucking stopping? It would just boom, 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 and it would go. Now, see, that's what a rocket does. It's not the atmosphere it's pushing off of. It's the explosion that's going in all directions. Out of the exhaust, it has a way to go. If that exhaust was cut off, then it would be pushing in both ways at the same time, and it wouldn't go either way. The fact that the exhaust is open on this side means that there's an escape pressure or escape out that way, but that way there's going to be a rocket housing. And when it hits that, it pushes it in that direction. That's what's going on.
In theory, this has never been practically demonstrated because you'd have to show a vacuum without a container and an object doing maneuver like this. So, team,
there's
Tony,
been like over 200 rockets.
All vacuums have a container.
All right.
Thank you very much. Bye, guys.
The universe has a container.
Well done.
It's the edge of the universe.
I mean, that was an awesome loss for you, Spurs. Congratulations. It's always amazing when Flat Earth comes here and loses a debate so badly and then leaves with the assumption that they've somehow shown us up. But no. Tony, as always...
Victory shot.
Yeah. Tony, as always, you were fucking amazing. Team, you managed to stay nice and quiet there. Give us your thoughts.
No. My thoughts were that I wanted to let the expert do the expert thing. And Tony is an expert in our field. He needed the... I want to see Tony online a lot more. I want to see him becoming a lot more involved with these debates. And I think tonight was a good... you composed yourself so well, Tony, in the face of retreat and deflection. Oh, me and you lose it all the time. We're known for losing it. That's why people are fucking here. But Tony, you did amazing. I want to commend you and say that with every single debate and event that you show up to, you're becoming more and more comfortable, and you're getting better and better and better at what you do. People should be subscribing to you just simply for the fact of what you've done so far within the community in the past month. But we're going to work on that video this month, and we're going to get that out. I think you deserve a lot of attention. You have a good argument to make, and you deserve the attention. So.
Like I said at the start, Tony, you are my spirit animal. I wish I was honestly as half as smart as you are. There's a reason I've got 2 bachelors and you've got a doctorate. You know. One thing I've always believed is surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, and it's the only way to improve. I mean, obviously, Team does that by being with me, but I do it by letting you on the channel.
Fuck you! Oh man, I fucking knocked my mic around. But I do want to point something out that this is exactly why they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay, so I'm about to increase my velocity. Okay, I'm about to increase my velocity without a contact force. Okay, and I want everybody in the audience. Once I do it, you're gonna be like, "Oh fuck yeah, that it's so obvious." Like these guys think that there must be something doing this to create a force. So let me show you real quick, guys. No contact, and I will increase. I'll accelerate without a force contact. Okay. Okay, I'm going at one speed.
Whoa, you sped up.
Yes.
Another.
Yep.
No contact needed and an increase in velocity. That is acceleration without contact. Spurs, I hope you're paying attention. I didn't get a chance to show you that in the earlier, but you're wrong. Sorry. Oh, and I haven't taken... I almost spilled my shot everywhere. I did spill it everywhere. Fuck.
Oh, no. Wasting alcohol. That's heresy.
No, well, it's not the whole thing. Thank goodness my weed pen saved only about a third of it spilled out. So.
Oh, not too bad then.
But what I'll do is I'll just make the shot. Yeah, see, like,
Rad Vlad is in the chat.
There's something wrong with that laser.
Yeah, there's only one image that I need to show Vlad to scare him. I just need to put this up. Look at the laser, Vlad. Look at the laser. It's terrifying, isn't it? There's something wrong with that laser. Oh, Vlad.
There's something wrong with that laser, guys.
Oh, I do love you, Vlad.
The Vlad era.
Yeah.
To you, Vlad. To you and your to you and your flaccid laser.
Yeah, Vlad. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Right. I'm about 2,300 subscribers away from 40k. When I hit 40k, I'm gonna do a 40-hour stream. Like you did in the 20-hour stream, you're welcome to come on during the 40-hour stream and share your unique intelligence with us. That should be fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going to keep this up.
I want to point something out. I want to point something out because there's an argument that's been made on Thunderfoot's channel that is not a common argument that any flat Earth debunker has made, and everybody needs to go watch that video. It's Why Do People Laugh at Flat Earthers Part 2. And he breaks down the fact that when Nathan Oakley and them talk about air pressure needing to have something to bounce off of, we need to remember something, guys, okay? Most of the molecules that are in our air right now are separated. They're not touching another molecule, which means that between the individual atoms is a vacuum, okay? Most of what you breathe in is a vacuum. Like their argument of they treat the atmosphere as if it's water where the particles are bound together by forces. They're not. They are little physical spheres, little balls that are traveling at really high speeds and smashing into each other, and that's what generates our atmospheric pressure. Not some fucking magical dome above us that holds us all compressed down. No, that's not what happens. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's also why the description of space vacuum is actually disingenuous. There is material there.
Yeah.
It's just at a much lower density than it is near to the Earth. But as you say, most of the stuff around us is empty space. I just want to make a point for those of you who do like my content. I have a YouTube channel.
Link in the description of this stream, by the way, guys.
I'm also on the Four Beardsmen every Sunday evening Australian time with Irish Demon, JL Warren, and Johnny O.
And in case anyone's wondering, Australian time is when you get a clock and turn it upside down.
And I will be appearing on Sit Down with Debunkers this weekend.
Yeah,
American
please
time.
subscribe to Sit Down with Debunkers, because I promised them that I will come on sometime. I'm so behind in my correspondence with everybody, guys. I'm sorry.
I want you to know, Tony, you have a forever invite to my channel. So anytime we're live and you just want to come on, just tell me and you're on. So no question about it.
You guys are really kind. What I don't want to do is monopolize your airtime, because you guys both do a great job of producing content. You know, your example with the railgun just there, which is something I now feel stupid for not realizing would practically illustrate the point. That's a really clear example. And if Spurs possessed the capacity for abstract thought,
no photographers do.
It would have convinced him, but sadly not.
That's what we really need to do. To prove that point, we need to get a vacuum and put a little car in it with a little firecracker and a little cone on the end of the firecracker, and then pop the firecracker in the vacuum and see if it pushes the car forward. I mean, obviously not a, that's why I use a firecracker, because there's a gun in it, but pop the firecracker and see if it fucking pushes the car forward. If it pushes the car forward in a vacuum, then there's no argument for the flat Earth.
Indie Tiger in the chat asked how they can send me pictures of raindrops being round and stuff. Anything you guys want to send me, either join my Discord, send it to me on Twitter. I'm on Facebook, both as a personal profile and as a business profile, or email me at fighttheflatearth@gmail.com. I do try to respond to as much as possible, but I have so many messages and I'm swamped, and I will get round to answering stuff, I promise.
Jessica G wants to know what the final score was. Craig got up to 10-0. Yeah. I think I was up to at least 18-0.
I think you are 1. No, I think you made it to 1 over 10 to the negative 17th to Neil.
He still won.
No, you didn't catch it, Craig. Did you catch? No, I said 1 over 10 to the negative 17th. Oh, yeah, you caught it. No, Tony caught it. Yeah, 10 to the 17th to 0. That's what it was.
Yeah. Okay, right. I'm going to read super chats, and then we get out of here tonight. And team, after show on your gaming channel?
Yeah, we could do that.
Nice.
I'm starting to feel kind of good from this alcohol, so.
I might have some tequila and join you in COD. That should be fun. Guys, I just want to say again, as always, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a really fun stream. I'm glad Tony and Spurs could come on and have their round 2, and I'm sure there's going to be round 3 at some point, because I want Spurs to actually address some of the things that we bring up. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you. The super chats and the members and everything is amazing. I couldn't do what I do without the support that you guys give me. It means the absolute world. And I know not everyone can support me financially, and that's absolutely fine. Just being here in the chat, liking the videos, being part of the stream means the world. And if you really want to help, the best way to do that is to share my videos and my streams on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, anywhere you can. Shout it at people in the street. FTFE on YouTube. And, then run, because they'll probably call the police. But, right, we're going to start. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 new members. Nathan's Tampons, Megan's Satanas, Elia Moon has upgraded to Brawlers, and Corrupt Simp. Thank you very much for becoming new members. And we've got Morton Nilsson for 129 Donkey Kong dollars. Thank you. Spurs, I have to know, are you subscribed to Kay's Cooking? And team, did you enjoy the channel? Team, are you enjoying Kay's Cooking?
Did I enjoy
Kay's Cooking?
I watched it yesterday. I watched like probably 5 minutes or so yesterday of it. It was I I can't remember if she was English or Australian, but she hasn't posted anything in like a year. So I don't know. It's a dead channel, but at the same time, I'll go watch the rest of the video. I started to watch it. It was about her cooking or something like that.
I actually really enjoy some cooking
I'll check it
channels. I do enjoy some cooking channels. They're so easy to watch sometimes. Right, Stringer News 1 for $5 says, one side of this conversation is pure science, the other pure politics. Care to guess which is which? I don't know, would you class Flat Earth as politics? Or do you mean about the way that Spurs dodges questions all the time? Because that's very politician-like.
No, well, he's political. He has this political theory, like he went into the whole colonialism and that sort of, sort of asserting control over the Earth and that sort of stuff, dumbing down people near the edge of the Earth who could testify to its shape, for instance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Never listen to anything a flat earther says. They're wrong. Elia Moon for $5. Yeah, what is space? Lol. That's one thing that they do. Like, as soon as you start saying, well, this happens and they go into space, they try and derail the conversation by trying to get you to then prove space. And we don't need to do that, because it's demonstrable that the higher you go, there is a lower pressure. And that's all we say space is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason why we don't have to demonstrate space is because to define space is the absence of atmospheric particles, or the absence of particles. So we have to ask one question and one question only. Do we have particles here on the surface of the Earth? And if the answer is yes, then following that we have an atmospheric gradient, there should be a point where there are no particles. That point at which there are no particles would be what we are calling colloquially space.
Well, when you say no particles, you just mean a very low density of very few.
Very low density. Very low density. Yeah.
I mean, space in general.
I'm saying no because technically, you could technically say it's no particles, but there are particles there. It's just very few and far in between.
I think the way to describe space in general is just as a low pressure system, right?
It's an extremely low.
It's just a low pressure system.
So really, it gets to the point where the gas, the density of gas molecules, the number of gas molecules per cubic meter, gets so low that it no longer behaves in anything like a fluid fashion, for various purposes, there'll be various different thresholds at which that happens. But by the time you're 10,000 or 12,000 kilometers above Earth, that's you're pretty much in space for any definition.
Yeah. In the chat, I just see that Peter Beale was timed out, but I see that somebody did that by accident. I think Draco Fire did that. I think that was just friendly fire, so I don't think he meant to do that. Okay. So then we've got $9.99 from Nerd Angle. Oh no, PhD Tony, why'd you do this to yourself? Remember your blood pressure.
Interestingly, I didn't feel like my blood pressure elevated that much. I did get loud, but I didn't get angry. I didn't feel so.
Yeah, I got a little bit irritated at one point.
Yeah.
I got extra silent.
Flat earthers are really, really good at making you frustrated. Nathan's tampons. You need to change your name. I can't deal with the thought of Nathan's tampons. For £2.
I think it's a great name.
It is. For £2 says Spurs.
Extra wide.
Spurs trying to sound intellectual with zero intelligence. That's just flat earthers altogether. They find big words that they think sound intelligent and just say them without any kind of context. Then we've got Morton Nilsson for 45 Donkey Kong dollars. Says, FTFE, your super chat blanky lights are very loud. Yeah, I know, I can't hear you when it's flashing like that, guys. I need to wait till it's stopped. Every time you super chat, it changes the lights to the color of the super chat and makes them flash. My wife messages me and she's like, "Can you turn that off?" I'm like, "Nah, sorry." She's trying to sleep.
Oh man, my fucking fireplace stopped.
What?
I had it on an 11-hour fucking fireplace. I gotta get that shit going. My bad. Hold on.
You're making your head on fire again.
What color do we need? Blue. We're gonna go blue flames.
Every time you send a super chat, guys, you wake up my wife. So good job. Stringer News 1 for $5 says, Tony, it's not pressure, it's the mass and velocity of the ejector.
Yeah. That's exactly. Sorry if I said. I meant pressure in the technical term of force per unit area. So there is a force being applied to the upper side of the combustion chamber, and that so that is a pressure. That's what I was trying to express. But yeah, the magnitude of that force, as you say, is due to the mass that's being thrown out the back.
Yeah.
Now I do want to point out something that Spurs was talking about.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead, Tony. I'll wait till you're done.
Well, I will admit, so I'm a geophysicist, and I'm not a rocket scientist, so it is possible that I will misspeak when I'm discussing this topic, and I apologise anytime that happens. And I'll listen, and I appreciate people picking up on subtleties and correcting me like that.
Yeah.
It's great.
And that's one thing that you'll find about intelligent people. We don't mind being corrected. If I get something wrong in a video, I actually very much enjoy someone in the comments saying, actually, I think you should maybe look into that a little bit more. Because that's the only way I'm going to learn, is if someone tells me I'm wrong. So yeah, intelligent people don't mind being corrected. In fact, you will find we will say thank you when we are corrected. But people that are dumb as fuck, like flat earthers, freak out when they get corrected.
Oh yeah, no, they just say, no, you're wrong because the Earth's flat and your data doesn't match the flat Earth, so.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, oh shit, what was I just going to say? What was the question? What were we just talking about? The alcohol's getting to me, guys.
The ejector from...
What were we just talking about?
The mass and velocity ejection.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I want you to think about this, guys, okay? Spurs was right. If the rocket is able to climb because it's pressing off the atmosphere, well, we do understand for a fact that as we go up, there's less atmospheric pressure. So if there's less atmosphere to push off of with the same amount of power coming out of the back of the rocket, there should be less velocity. The actual rocket should be slowing down in its acceleration as it gets higher because it's losing atmosphere to push off of.
Yeah. Yep. Rockets wouldn't work according to them.
Yep. So that isn't what's observed. But his argument, as I was trying to get to, and team picked up on it and went there. His argument is contradictory. So the atmosphere counts as a surface now because under that definition, your entire argument about atmospheric pressure falls apart. I don't think they realize, and it was like his argument about that gas is being held there by an electromagnetic force. So gases can be constrained by forces. Is that what you're telling us? Because that shoots their argument in the foot as well. And that's our argument. Our argument is, gases can be constrained by forces. So he was constantly blundering into stuff that shot his own argument in the head. It was quite interesting.
It's always a pleasure to behold a flat earther, hanging themselves when you just give them the rope. Right, so then we've got God's Auditor for $5. Spurs, if I strap a stick of dynamite to your head in the centre of a 3-mile wide vacuum chamber, would your head fly off in the opposite explosion? Yes, it would. Please don't kill the flat earthers. We have no one stupid to laugh at. Doggo Empire for $2.79 Canadian says, boys, the Earth is a comically large spoon. Shut the fuck up. That is top secret information. Dude, you can't just go... Yeah, we've got a code 7. Yeah, active in the chat right now. Yeah, just deploy the team. Cool. Just stay where you are. Someone will be with you soon to deal with that. Fuck's sake. There's 500, nearly 600 people watching.
Good help.
Yeah. NASA Black Site Area 69 for $5 says, ask Spurskimo why he told Gem Panda that Flat Earth is dying. I should have asked him. I'll remember that for next time. Indie Tiger for $5 says, having navigated ships in the Navy, hello fellow Navy, I can tell you through direct observation that ships travel in curved paths to follow the curve of the Earth. Yeah, I've tried explaining this before, that if you're doing certain mission or training missions and stuff, then you're only allowed to carry a certain amount of fuel to get you from point A to point B, and it's all about efficiency, and you have to calculate how much your engines are going to consume in the distance. Yep. And if you don't get it right, then you're stranded at sea. And you base those calculations on a globe.
You use that distance formula, right?
Yeah.
The angular distance formula for, and it's used all the time. And planes use it, ships use it, and have used it for ages. Like back in the age of sail, they weren't so worried about fuel, but they were worried about food and water. You had to have enough food and water to get where you were going, especially given that you couldn't always rely on having winds that were favourable for you. So you had to get this prep right, again, we understand. I can't get over this because understanding projectiles' motions under gravity is like the basis for physics. It's the entire, it's the first thing you learn, and they can't do it.
Oh, I'm loving how they can't even answer what the upwards component is of a projectile. That's every time you say that, I'm like, come on.
It's unfair. You can't ask them.
Please just make an attempt. Just make an attempt at answering it, please.
Yep.
Oh,
I'm waiting for one of them to give an answer that's greater than 1,000.
They won't give answers. Spurs, for instance, was actually caught coaching people on how to avoid giving answers. It's just what they do.
That's why I made the comment today. I love seeing you fucking being painted into a corner with no way out, because we three knew he was going to do that and said, "No, we're not going to let that happen." And sure enough, every time when he said that, you said something to him, and he tried to go in an opposite direction. I was like, bring it back. You just went completely out of your way to avoid that question. Deflect and retreat to the other side. Somebody put it in the chat. Deflect and retreat. I like that. That explains him very well. Deflect and retreat.
Yeah.
Elian Moon for $5 says, space. What lies between Spur's left ear and right ear? Space. Yeah, they always ask for a vacuum next to gas pressure. They just need to look in their fucking head. NASA Black Site Area 69 for $2 Australian dollars. How does a sextant work on a flat Earth? It doesn't. Mr. Victory for $4.99 says, because NASA is late on their shield checks. Yeah. Unfortunately, the teleportation that NASA added to my implant used the entire budget for the year, so the shield checks will be a little late. My bad.
Sorry.
Yeah. Soup Nosti for $10 says, please ask Spurs to explain how the sun hits the underside of the clouds during a sunset and how that is possible on a flat planet. Well, he made the claim that he's debunked it, didn't he? He said that he's debunked this picture. I mean, there is no way to debunk this on a flat Earth. This can't happen unless the sun physically goes below the elevation of those mountains.
Yeah. Oh, Hip Hop Hippie tried to leave a comment in my last video. He said, I guess when we were talking to Flat Earth Aussie Jesus last night, he said, "Oh, those have been debunked. What really is happening is the mountain's going through the clouds and the sun is illuminating the top of the mountain, and that's being expressed on top of the clouds, and you're seeing it from the bottom of the clouds."
What the fuck?
Yeah, which...
No.
Which doesn't explain how the clouds cast shadows on one another, right?
Yeah. He's tried emailing me saying, "Oh, I've debunked you, and you're just scared of me now." I'm like, "No, dude. When you came on with you said you had evidence, and this time your evidence was, look, the sun moves through the sky, and there's mountains and valleys." I mean, dude. JL Truth
they're morons. They're morons.
JL Truth for $9.99 says Spurs explain mechanistically how a table pendulum loses velocity. What's the force acting on the weight since the air around the weights is less dense? He couldn't. I'll just answer that for him.
Hey, can I make an announcement real quick?
You can.
I just need to make an announcement for Professor Phil Bell, because I know a lot of times people like to kind of walk out during these last moments when we're just reading the super chats. So I need to make this announcement for Professor Phil Bell. He's going to be conducting a free physics class on Monday and Tuesday evening on Zoom. If you want to secure a ticket, DM Professor Bell on Discord. Places are limited, so don't delay. The physics classes will be aimed at GCSE and A-level at first, moving into college-level physics and chemistry. And if anybody needs his, I know I copied it. Let me see if I can paste it still. I hope I didn't copy anything else. Yes, I did actually copy something else. Oh, shit. Okay. Anyway, message DM Professor Phil Bell on Discord if you want to get involved with that. I will probably be involved with that personally.
Sounds fun.
I've done Leonard Susskind from Stanford. Somebody shared another professor I like to watch. I had no idea. I've done Sean Carroll's Biggest Ideas in Cosmology. So I'm going to be interested in seeing what Professor Phil Bell has to offer. And sorry, Fight, didn't mean to cut in on you. I just wanted everybody to know that. I think it's something everybody should take part in.
Yeah, especially
Phil Bell is a real talent. Yeah, it just
yes, he is.
It is shocking that Spurs won't even entertain the possibility of being educated.
No,
just doesn't see it as necessary.
Because he's going to say that there's a presupposition to the class that the Earth is a globe.
Oh yeah,
that's
of
what
course.
He'll say.
It's just indoctrination. Phil's just trying to indoctrinate more of our audience. That's all. Morton Nilsson for $89 Donkey Kong dollars says, Spurs, would you mind sending FTFE your picture of the flat Earth? I'm sure you have one. Lol. Betsy Klein for $5 says, Spurs is the pineapple on Teen's pizza. Can barely stomach him and makes no sense.
Makes no sense. No sense.
Accurate.
Barely stomach him. Spurs is like a pizza jelly donut. He is the pizza jelly donut of the flat Earth, guys.
Sayed Ahmed for $1.99 says, Derpskimo is a terrible pose. Stop licking windows. No, we're the window lookers. We are the window lickers, and I've got actual evidence of that.
Evidence, yeah.
Mr. Victory for $2.99 says, NASA lied to my cat and stole my hat. We'll send the agents around to deal with that. Need a memory wipe. JL Truth for $4.99 says, did that hurt, Spurs, just cramming your whole leg in your mouth? Oh, I love you, JL. You're amazing. Mr. Victory for $1.99 says, Spurs blinded me with science, nor lack of it. Spurs couldn't blind anyone with science, even if he was like right in front of you, because there's nothing he's ever done that has science. Draco Fire for $5 says, the arrogance from this guy. If you don't agree with my assertion, you aren't an expert. The lion, the witch, and the audacity of this bastard.
Yeah.
Right.
That
was hilarious to me when he said that. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
No, I think that's exactly sort of the point where we want him. If we get in there, where he's saying, well, you have to disagree with me or you're not an expert. Whereas I will concede that there are experts in stuff that aren't me. I think we make him look ludicrous, and that's the point. It just try and get him to say stupid stuff, and he did. He said an immense amount of
every time he opens his mouth. Every
nonsense.
Time.
Yeah. It's where we should be trying to make them go. Yeah.
It's impressive how much stupid he can put out. It really is. Traveller X for $5 says, every time I see this pill I facepalm, then spend a couple of hours enjoying it try to squirm its way out from under an avalanche of fact. Yeah, we definitely made Spurs squirm today. Definitely. Gel Truth for $4.99 says, Spurs, how can I watch 2 sunsets on the Burj Khalifa, one at the base and one later at the top, if the Earth isn't curved? Magic, I guess. Glass Monster for $2 says, can I speak to a Spurskimo? I'll be polite. Not tonight, dude. Said it was just Tony mainly having the conversation with Spurs tonight. Nathan's Tampons for £5 says, from the North Pole, walk 100 miles south, 100 miles west, 100 miles north. Where is he? Give him the answer. Maybe show him it on a flat Earth model on a globe. That's actually something interesting I could do with him, because there would be two very different answers.
Yep.
Sleepy Dan for $5. Sorry, go on.
And indeed, MC Toon has done it with flight charts. Paper flight charts.
Sleepy Dan for $5 says, Spurs, have you measured those weather balloon photos to determine the horizon is flat? I have, and they are not. They always have a slight curve. Yeah, exactly like with the video I showed him, and then he ran away. NASA Black Site Area 69 for $2 says, flat Earth is dead. Spurs said himself to Gem Panda. If anyone has a clip of him saying that, please send it to me. Blue Marble Science for $5. I feel Spurs may be suffering from crayon poisoning. Definitely eats a lot of crayons. Purple is his favourite breakfast. Better Charge for $5 says, hey, all you good people, go check out Tony so we can show him love for all those free lessons he is giving us. If you want to see more of the amazing PhD Tony, a link to his channel is in the description of this stream. Please go and give him a sub. That would be much appreciated. Brian M. Batcher for $2 says, crayons are non-toxic, Blue Marble. I don't know, we can try and give him the lead ones. Flattened Destruction for $5 says, I would bury Spurs in a debate. He had a meltdown when I debated him before. It's all psychological with him. That's his true angle. I think with Spurs, it's just to troll as much as possible. See how much stupid stuff he can get away with saying.
Hey, can I interject?
Yes.
I've got a lovely idiot in the chat right now. Kathleen R says the drinking guy needs a 12-step program. Alright, you dumb bitch. Let me explain something to you. I haven't had a drink in fucking months, and I'm having a couple of shots today. Also says, and saying the word fucking in every sentence makes you sound like you don't know any other words. Well, guess fucking what? I really fucking don't know any other fucking words other than fucking and words and don't and guess and what and a few of the other words that I've used in this fucking sentence for you. Other than that, how about you take those cocksuckers you have and put them down there? You know where to go. Oh, I'm sorry. Fucking down there. Fucking down there.
Yeah,
Thank
what
you.
these idiots don't realise is that fuck is one of the most expressive words in the English language. It's a fantastic word that can enhance your vocabulary immensely.
Yeah, it's a...
I agree with Jukane 726. The 12-step program is a scam. It forces you to rely on a higher power. Well, guess what? I control what I do. I don't need any higher power to do it for me. If there's a chemical imbalance in my head that forces me to want to indulge in drinking more than anything else, well, there's nothing I can do about it, and neither can a higher power.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, neither can a fucking higher power.
Yeah, so there are 2 points that I'd like to make. One is the ad hominem fallacy, that whether or not a statement is true or worth hearing depends on how it's expressed. And I'm really bad at sort of keeping calm or keeping keeping a measured approach when I get provoked by a flat earther, and that can create a bad impression. But the word fuck, if I swear at somebody or if I swear while I'm saying something, that doesn't change what I'm talking about. It doesn't change my level of expertise. And the second point that I want to make is that I was chatting with Tim the other day about the Casimir effect. He was going on about virtual particles and the pressure horizons behind it. and I had to go up and I had to go away from that. I had to sort of say, okay, and then look up at least several terms in the explanation that he used. He has both of these guys have significant amounts of technical expertise, that really deserves some respect. So, one guy having a drink on one evening. This is the first time I've seen Team drink ever.
Yeah.
So,
it's the first time I've had a drink in probably 8 months, 6 to 8 months.
Yep.
He's probably already drunk.
And hey, Kathleen, this shot's for you, Kathleen.
Commander Darklight for 20 Australian dollars says, typical flat earth misdirection rather than conversation. Absolutely, that's all they have. Morton Nelson for 45 Donkey Kong dollars says, this Flerf movie sucks. Want my tickets refunded. And the popcorns are stale and the soda's flat. Spurs don't make movies. Can we talk about how bad the production quality was in his video?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I missed such an easy okay Karen opportunity.
Yeah, I've called her Karen. I've already done it. Sorry, too late.
Okay.
But yeah, now team, as a content creator, and I know that you are a perfectionist with your stuff, how did watching Spurs' produced video make you feel?
I don't know. There were several times. Okay, so he actually has edited cuts in there. That's the interesting part, is that he didn't. That's not just a one take. Look, if I can understand that, and I've never criticized anybody for one taking themselves and going or saying, yeah, this shot was not that great. I mean, this shot was great. I've never had a problem with someone doing that. But when they go back and they edit it and then they forget, like they miss several parts that they could have cut out that were very insignificant, where they started to say a sentence and then realized they fucked up and then went and restated it, just cut that shit out. Unless it's part of the presentation, cut it out, because that just shows that you have a poor editing skills. And guess what? All the thumbs up and good comments and positive vibes that you wanted from the crowd for being a content creator, you don't deserve it, because there are other content creators out there that are trying fucking half as hard and putting out twice as good material. It doesn't matter about flat earth or no flat earth. That part doesn't matter. Your video was shit. You've been doing this. You told me in this hangout, you've been doing this for 6 years. So putting out a video like that just shows that you don't even give a shit about your own content going out.
No.
So I don't take it seriously.
Can you explain what was going on with the blurry text?
I was thinking, is that on my side?
Yes.
That's actually, I went and checked in his video, like on his channel, and that's how it is on his channel. So it's like he's downloaded a low resolution version of something and just added that into the timeline. And I'm like, you know what? If that was me, I would have said, no, I need to find a better version of that and put it in.
But it would start out in focus, and then after a second or two, it would just go blurry.
I don't know what he did.
Sort of, it would. I don't know how that happens. Was he filming his screen with a camera, or
I wouldn't be surprised.
What was going on here? I just don't know. And I thought you guys might be able to sort of come up with a plausible.
Don't worry, no.
I just thought it was coming from Fight Earth. I honestly thought it was coming from Fight.
No, I will be covering that on its own episode of Flerfs Are Idiots, and it will be mentioned. Brad Dubé.
As I say, Blue Marble did a.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blue Marble did a video on it as well.
Yeah.
Which prepped me for a lot of the stupid that was presented there.
Right. And we got Brad Dubé, Eric's intelligent cousin, for $5. Flerfs are so difficult to take seriously. Their obtuseness is overwhelming. Ain't that the fucking truth? Excuse me. Syed Ahmed for $1.99 says, this video has to be a JM Truth production, right? Yeah, it was definitely like he had hired JM Truth as the editor and director and producer for what he made. And then Charlie Welch for $2 says, did JM direct that crap? So yeah, a lot of people saw the excellent work from JM Truth there. Irish Demon for $2.99 Australian says, you can build and test a vacuum and rocket at home. Yes, you can. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Irish Demon. He just did a 24-hour charity stream, which I wasn't able to get onto, unfortunately, but he did it. He did an amazing job. Stephen York.
Oh, I got my community service for showing up.
Oh, well done.
Yes.
Stephen York for $22.99 Australian dollars says, Spurs videos are the most infantile pieces of misunderstanding I've ever witnessed. The monotronic droll and inane content makes me want to stab myself in the eye to help reduce the pain. That's why I gave a good warning at the beginning that there would be like facepalm inducing stupid on its way. And I was right. Stephen York for $30.99 Australian, thank you very much, says, on top of him just being a maggot feeding off Oakley's open herpes wounds, the editing is woeful. Why can't you remove the throat clearing, the huffing? Actually just remove yourself from this community, Spurs.
All the masturbation sounds? Yeah, I agree.
It was. I thought it was him. Like, is he making those noises? But it wasn't his microphone, it was actually him going, ugh. It was like he was, I've got to read that.
Yes, that's right. It seemed like he was turning the page on the script or going to a new slide and go, oh, God, there's so much more of this crap I've got to wade through. Yeah, I could feel your pain, Chemo. There was a lot of crap.
Like he was fucking filming on the toilet, you know?
That's right.
Oh, Kathleen, stop with your hate boner for the word fuck. It's a very good word. You should fucking learn to fucking use it, you fucking fuck. Fuck.
You'd make a better fucking point by fucking telling the world to fuck off at times, and you can definitely establish dominance over a Karen when you tell her to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up, Nathan.
The fuck up. Exactly.
That's one of my favourite moments of all time. Oh, team! I rewatched the debate with me and you and Nathan and G-Man recently, and we fucking killed that shit, man. We absolutely ruined them. I know. That was it was. I'm surprised we didn't get arrested the next day for murdering someone live on a stream.
I'm surprised that we don't have the Flat Earth police coming to our doorstep every day saying, "You have committed another Flat Earth murder."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traveller X for $5 says, Flerfs' entire argument is gas pressure can't exist without a container to press off of. How does pressure acting on a gas chamber as it expands? How is gas pressure acting on a chamber as it expands wrong? Yeah, he doesn't understand rockets at all. And we covered that.
Yeah.
And we got for Rosa $5 says, I could not listen to this monotone crap. Had to dip out. Hope all is well with everyone. Yeah, I think my views dropped to about 20, down from about 800 whilst that video was on. Then went back up. It went for a cup of tea. Then we got Morton Nelson for 45 Donkey Kong dollars. Spurs, you were in the chat for that launch. You saw it same as us. Yeah, he just denies. Traveller X for $5 Australian says, no, we've done that one, sorry. Traveller X for $2 Australian says, my proofreading sucks. It's fine, mine as well. JL True for $1.99 says, PhD Tony is my Patronus. Oh, could you imagine that? Expecto Patronum! Hey Tony, how you doing? just fancy the beer you mate.
Well, there you go. That would make my life more interesting.
Yeah, just no matter what you're doing, someone pulls out the Expecto Patronus. And, oh, fuck! I'm naked! Stop it!
I was on the can!
That'll get rid of the dead mentors for sure. Irish Demon for $2.99 Australian says, birds are not rocket powered, mate. PhD Tony 2020.
Well, he was referring to birds, like because birds use air pressure, which was a change from his last attempt, which was the temperature gradients above and below the wing. But we're discussing rockets. You're trying to prove that rockets aren't. That was where I started to get angry. Because he was just spewing nonsense.
Christopher Hoogan for $5 Australian says, PhD Tony, how did you get introduced to Flat Earth?
That's a good question.
Great question.
I ended up So my primary focus was actually fighting climate denialism, so I was doing, I was looking at videos and doing some stuff in the comment sections of videos on climate science, and then I came across Simon Dan's channel, and then Conspiracy Cats, and then you guys, in that order, sorry, just at that point I felt like this is so ridiculously stupid. Surely, as soon as people are made aware of just the chasm of ignorance that they're relying on here, they'll come around. And I didn't understand the dynamic that was going on with the senior flat earthers, but that's how I made it.
All right, nice. So how long in total would you say you've been aware of the whole flat Earth community thing?
Only a few months. In fact, I had any idea? Like, at the research school I work at, there are at least a dozen genuine geniuses, people who have pioneered their particular fields of research, people who have, people who were involved in the early days of the US space program, that sort of caliber of person. People who make me feel, small and stupid and not really having accomplished much. But here are these guys pronouncing themselves, the arbiters of the shape of the Earth, based on nothing. Like, it's just really frustrating to me. For some reason, I am offended by it deeply.
Yeah, I do find the entire notion of flat Earth quite offensive, because it's a slap in the face to all the intelligent people in the world. But boy, is it fucking funny.
It is.
Now, I got a question for this person, for Kathleen. I have a question for you. Do you think you're smarter than the people who have done the studies on that correlate intelligence with cursing? Because something tells me that you probably think you're smarter than them, and you don't use cursing in your daily routine. Those two things seem to fucking correlate with one another. You probably think you're smarter than science and the people who study science, as well as you don't cuss in reality. Okay? Just saying. Plenty of studies have shown that a proper use of the word fuck, shit, bitch, pussy, ass, and dick have been linked to higher intelligence. I'm just saying. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying.
It's actually a sign of having a larger vocabulary when you can use cussing and swearing in a correct way. And when you watch Team and I's videos, we say fuck and shit and bit and stuff a lot, but it adds to what we're saying.
Yeah,
it accentuates our points. What's better, saying you're an idiot or saying you're a fucking idiot? What gets the point across more? Stringer News 1 for $5 says, how many times can Tony murder Spurs? Yeah, Tony, you will need to go into hiding, I'm afraid.
Apparently 50 times in 2 hours. Shit.
Gripper Crapper from $9.99 says, the beauty of using a projectile to propel yourself forward is that you can manipulate the independent variable and change the mass of the projectile to travel a further distance. Science, bitch. Stephen Warrior, I know you're going to be watching this at some point, so that answers the question that you gave me in Discord before you blocked me earlier. Stephen Warrior's got this thing about, he'll unblock me on Discord, he'll send me a bunch of things that's like, ha ha ha, gotcha, and then block me before I can reply. That somehow means he's won, I guess.
That just confirms his irrelevance, right? I mean, I actually had to block him on every social media platform that I'm part of, including Gmail. Like, I just had to shut him down because he was just following me and wanted me to react to him. Actually, Anthony, I'm not interested in anything you have to say anymore. I've determined you're an idiot, and if you want to go and sledge me off and do whatever with your mates, that's fine. I don't care. I seriously don't. Knock yourself out with it. Have as much fun as you want.
Riley, you need to understand this though. You can't win Dumb Fuck of the Year twice. Stop trying so hard.
And it just the flat earthers have nothing to say. We saw it with Spurs today. Eventually it was just an assertion. Well, the Earth is flat, and so anything that says it isn't is wrong.
Yeah.
Great argument, guys.
Rampant for 1,000 claps says, Tony, what's your PhD in? You are really smart.
Oh, that's very kind of him to say. My PhD is in geophysics. My undergraduate training was as a mathematician.
Nice. Like I said, I wish I was half as smart as you. Stringer News 1 has upgraded his membership to the Fighters. Thank you very much, man. Stringer News 1, I can never say thank you enough for the amount of help that you gave me during the beginning of my channel and stuff. You will forever be a massive part of this channel. Thank you. Diabetic War Slug for $5 says, got to donate to one of my other top 3 channels to keep the balance. Thank you very much. That I am one of your top 3 channels is an honor to know. So what we've got, me, Tony, and My Little Pony Extreme. I'm not sure. What's that?
Who was that? No, who was that? Who was that just donated?
Diabetic War Slug.
Yeah, no, Diabetic War Slug's 3 favorite channels are Team Skeptic After Dark, and when he needed another one, and I, out of love for you, I said, you might want to put Fight the Flat Earth in as your 3rd one.
Oh.
And he said, as long as you say so. As long as you fucking say so, you fucking drunk. He said that to me and added you as his 3rd favorite channel.
Have you got to drink and swear so much on my channel? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Hold on. It's compulsory at this point. Here's to you, Diabetic War Slug.
Yeah, thank you, Diabetic War Slug. It means the world. And team, it's nice that you want to help the little channels. How many subs have you got again?
Fuck you. The whiskey is good.
String News 1 for $5 says,
I gave Dwight a drink. I gotta wipe his mouth. Hold on. Go ahead.
To clarify, Spurs has talking points, not evidence. Politicians use talking points. Scientists bring evidence. Yeah, that makes sense with the comment earlier. Yeah, you're right. Balthazar228 from $19.99, thank you very much, says, the reality of physics, astrophysics and quantum mechanics is so much more interesting than any fable or myth humans have ever created. If only those who deny science actually spent some time to learn it. This is what I've been saying to flat earthers for a long time is, if you took a physics course, just a basic college level physics course, you would not be a flat earther by the end of it. No, there's 2 things that would happen. You would either fail the course, or you would no longer be a flat earther. Because there is no way that you can study physics and think that the earth is flat. They're not compatible. And that's not some kind of doctrine thing. It's not indoctrination. It's just that the conclusions that are gathered from understanding the physical world show that the earth isn't flat. And that all flat earthers are fucking idiots. There we go. NA for $6.
It sucks we have this delay because I was on point. I even pushed in the middle of idiots. I pushed it.
I need to get a thing added to my stream deck as well. Guys, if you haven't seen the fucking,
I can show you something pretty cool.
Stream decks are amazing. This little thing. I've only got 15 buttons on mine. Team's got 32, but it's incredible. So
oh shit! Hold on. So I just turned on the audio for the speakers.
So, like, I've got all my intros and stuff programmed in there, and if I wanted to go into my evidence, I just go into that folder, and then I can go to videos, and then if I hit that button there...
If the Earth is spinning at 1 rotation every 24
that comes
hours,
up.
that means that every hour it has to turn 15 minutes.
I was freaking out. Like, what the fuck? Where's that coming from?
And all it's cool. The little videos play on the physical buttons. It's amazing. Team got one with 32 buttons because he needs to be special. But I think the 15 is enough. I love it.
No. This would be like the 15 to 32 buttons is like the difference between buying extra small condoms and magnums. I buy magnums, he buys extra smalls. No big deal. That's why he got married, so he had to stop buying the... That's why he got married, so he didn't have to buy the extra embarrassing sized condoms.
No, they didn't have ones that fit me. They don't make them that small.
They all fit like umbrellas.
NA for $6.66. Hail Sagan. Too much BS from Flerfs makes my penis hurt. Makes my whole body hurt. I know what you mean. Balthazar228 for $4.99 says, Ben Carson already took away "it's not brain surgery" from me. I'm not going to let flat earthers take "it's not rocket science," because in some cases it is. Yeah, we were literally talking about rocket science today, and Spurs understood none of it. Matt Bryce donated £1 without a message. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And actually, that reminds me, if you guys have YouTube Premium, you get one channel a month that you can support for free. So if you haven't used your free support, then you could feel free to use that month's free support to become a member of my channel. YouTube Premium is awesome. And don't forget, if you have YouTube Premium, you can support a channel for free every month. Then we got Cavionic for 100 Nokias. Tony's calm reasoning in the face of Flerf nonsense is so mesmerizing. Combined with FTFE's agitated reasoning and Team's more balanced logic is awesome. Yeah, we make a good threesome.
Who said I had balanced logic? I want to know who's fucking delusional.
Stop lying about us.
Who was that?
That was Cavionic.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Cavionic.
Thank you for the balanced logic compliment.
And we got Balthazar228.
Love it.
Balthazar228 for $4.99 says, remember, a lot of alcohols are clear. Ergo, alcohol isn't a problem. It's a solution. Badumch.
What?
Stringer News 1 for $5 says, here's to alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. Homer Simpson. Oh! Draco... Yeah. Go! There we go. Draco Fire for $2 says, I legitimately got a headache watching that shit. Yeah, I apologise for putting you through that thing from Spurs. But that was his condition with coming on the show today, was that we would play his video uninterrupted. But remember, you can always just skip forward by dragging the little dot along the timeline. And then last super chat is Rachel O'Daniels for $5 Australian, says, fucking great show. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I've had a great time tonight. Tony, any final thoughts?
Well, thank you very much for having me on and giving me the opportunity. I appreciate it, and I hope I effectively demolished all of Spurs' points. I thought I did.
You always do. You always do. And it's always an absolute pleasure to come on. And I echo team sentiment that you are a forever welcome guest. Any show that you want on, there's a link for you. All right?
Okay.
There's only a few people that have that type of invite.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only a few people that have that invite with me, Tony, and you're one of them. So Reds is one of them. You're one of them. Jesus.
I am, if I give him enough money.
Fits that category. You're fucking... No, you're required to be there.
Yeah, I have to. He made me sign a contract, guys. When I first started and I only had a few hundred subs, he's like, just sign this and I'll help your channel. You didn't know, he now owns my house. Like... last super chat from Nusean Andreas for 25 rons. Nathan had a work accident. He put his tampon upside down and was instantly hospitalized. I didn't want that image. Don't do that to me. But guys, we are going to have an after show over on Team Skeptics gaming channel. Team, chuck the link into the chat. We'll probably start in 10-15 minutes time. Feel free to join us over there. Team, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No. I would say come over and watch my gaming stream because it's fun when I'm fucking sober. It's going to be fucking great when I'm fucking... I'm not going to say... I'm not drunk, but I'm not, like, perfectly level-headed right now. So it's going to be fucking great. I'm going to die a lot. Come on over and watch us. Yeah, you have a good time.
Thanks. Thank you again, Tony. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for supporting the super chats.
And hey, one more announcement. One more announcement. this announcement goes to Kathleen R. I don't want anybody to show her hate because there is no reason for us to be hateful towards people.
No.
She simply expressed an opinion. I felt like it was a bad opinion. I had fun with the opinion. You guys in the chat had fun with the opinion. At this point, Kathleen R., I'm just glad you're a viewer here. Thank you very much for your support, and you have a great night.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, I'm sorry. A fucking great night.
Fucking great night. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for supporting with Super Chats. Please share the stream on social media. And remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. 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 Fight the flat.